today it is the anniversary of the Switch reveal trailer. So we're going to be looking back and telling you some behind the scenes stories about how this thing got made, what the feeling was like inside Nintendo when this happened. Yeah, and lots more things that you might not know about this iconic reveal trailer.
Yes, big anniversary week for this iconic moment in not just Nintendo history, but gaming history.
I think so.
Do you know how many years?
It's been 8 years now.
8 years.
Yes.
Wow.
8 years.
That's amazing.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't recall if it was the last episode or the episode before we were talking about the image that got shared on social with Mario looking behind the curtain.
Yes.
And that seemed to get a lot of interest. Again, we don't know what people are going to find interesting in these podcasts. We think there's a lot of things that are interesting, but stuff that gets picked up and becomes a news story, it's like you never know.
I didn't know why that one was a,
so it's like,
was
all
a
right,
particular interest.
there's some interest in this. So let's revisit this.
Yes.
And talk about it a bit more because it is important. It was extremely memorable for everybody.
It was extremely memorable. It was also an extremely different kind of thing for Nintendo as well, and it was like really I think marked like a new era for how Nintendo was doing stuff.
Sure.
And we kind of lived through that transition. Obviously, we lived through the launch and into many years into the Switch life cycle. And yeah, I think this marked like a visible shift in how Nintendo did stuff. It's kind of interesting, you know?
I agree. Yes. Yeah. Before we get into that, another big thing that is happening in the world of Nintendo, happening in the news, is the Nintendo Switch Online playtest. And recently, people who signed up for that and were accepted, not us, got the app and got some information about what that is. Soon, people will be able to start getting access to that app.
I think so.
And interacting with it and playing with it. Since that's kind of an ongoing thing, we're not going to spend too much time in this podcast talking about it because, like, any second it feels like there could be some new
wrinkle.
development. And, again, they haven't officially announced what this thing is. Maybe they're going to do that. Maybe they're not. We're just going to do a whole separate video on that for later in the week.
I think so.
Once we kind of know a bit more of, like, the full story around this because there's information out there now, but it's like, I don't want to do that thing where we talk about it in the podcast, but then by the time it gets out, it's like, oh, there's all these other things
that like made that
invalidates, whatever we shared before.
We should definitely gather all the known info first before we have some kind of reaction analysis to what is going on there. That's also, from our perspective, like kind of a weird thing that Nintendo is doing.
Sure.
So I want to have all the details before I truly make a judgment call on like what the heck is going on at Nintendo.
You've been sharing many a judgment with me off camera.
I have some conspiracy
some rants and ravings of Krysta Yang over here.
That's true. That's why
waving your finger around.
That's why you're here for me to
just
abuse with my conspiracy
and I'm just
theories.
working away. Yep.
You just do that thing where you're like, that's nice, that's nice. It must feel so hard for you.
You've never been more right, Krysta. Yeah.
Gas me up a little bit, come on. Just a little bit, once in a while, Be a pal, jeez.
Something that is out now is our Zelda Echoes of Wisdom spoiler cast. Check it out. Why did you just make that sound?
Because I'm excited about it.
I don't recall you ever making that sound before.
I'm excited because it was a really good episode.
Yes.
We had so much fun digging into all things Echoes of Wisdom. I think we recorded for almost like
over 100 minutes, as I like to say.
You like to say over?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a very in-depth discussion of everything that we experienced and how we felt after we played the game. We do review the games in our spoiler cast, and we gave it a review score. You, at the very end of the spoiler cast, you were like, I'm so interested to hear your review score because this discussion was all over the place.
I really didn't know what you were going to say at the end of that.
I know, right?
Because you said a lot of positive things. You said some things that weren't so positive, and then by the end, it's like, I don't know. So I just need to hear you say
We actually are very good about not spoiling each other on the spoiler cast stuff. Like we talk every day, obviously, and we talk about games that we're playing all the time. But for the spoiler cast games, at a certain point, we just stop talking to each other about it. And so I do get a little, anxious because I'm like, I want to hear what you are feeling after you beat a game. I really want to know how you're feeling about it too. So that's always fun for us because we get to be a little bit surprised.
Yes, as always, this is a Patreon exclusive available to Notification Squad and up tiers, along with every other spoiler cast.
Oh, yeah.
You get access to all of those if you're on that tier.
10 of them now, right?
Or, I believe so, or you can just get it as a one-off through the Patreon shop, however you'd like. It is there, along with those 10 others, and every month, the ranks grow.
The Patreon shop is basically all spoiler cast at this point, almost.
There's some other things
There's some other things there, but I would just like to say, even if you don't buy it, can you just go look at it? Because
check it out. You made a nice thumbnail.
It looks really pretty in there. Like, I'm very proud. Whenever I look through, whenever I scroll through the shop,
would you say that it's highly organized?
It's very highly organized.
I've become more and more suspect of your organization methods lately.
Highly organized.
Just for somebody who self-declares that you're, an expert in organization.
Remember those, like, aesthetic Instagram feeds that people used to do back in like the mid to late 2000s.
Did you have one of those?
I did not, because I was very lazy and I can't keep like remember that
3 at a time.
There was a day, yes, you had to do 3 at a time. You had to do like the crazy color coding.
Yes.
But then, so I've just parlayed my like hopes and dreams for an aesthetic Instagram grid into the spoiler cast shop.
Yeah.
Because all those thumbnails, if you look at them, are like the same format, but it's like really beautiful graphics. I work really hard on those.
Listen, I'm going to let people, like Mario, I'm going to let people behind the curtain on your questionable organization. We had a very important document. I will not say what the document is. It is extremely important, though. We thought it was in a safe place where we could both reach it, both have it, both access it.
Yeah.
It vanished one day. It vanished.
It truly, it was kind of scary, actually.
And we found out what happened was that in a fit of organization, you deleted it.
No,
yes.
No, this document was started before we had a shared work Google Drive.
So?
And it was on my personal Google Drive, and then that thing happened where it's like you're out of space. You're out of space.
That doesn't sound like something that would happen to an organized person.
Google was like, I'm gonna delete your stuff because you're out of space unless you pay me more money. And I was like, I'm not paying you more money.
So you freaked out and you deleted everything.
No, it deleted it. Google.
No, you did it yourself.
Google, though.
It's contested who deleted it. I think it was you. So now when you say, I just organized it. I deleted it. It's been organized. It's gone.
You said it was like the mob.
Yes.
You've been organized.
What happened to Tony? He got organized.
He got organized.
He's at the bottom of the Hudson River. Don't get organized, people. It's not a good thing.
Organize your meatballs, not your document.
It's not a good thing. We have a couple other things. We do have on the channel our walking tour around Nintendo headquarters in Kyoto. If you want to get a feel for what the neighborhood is like, how far those 2 buildings are, share some stories along the way as we huff and puff from a couple blocks down the street.
I was sweaty again.
We do see the spot where the 3rd building is going to go up, which I think was
confirmed.
Was exciting. Yes,
it was indeed that
we
spot.
used some deductive reasoning to decide. Yes.
We also asked somebody.
This is where it's at.
Who knew, and that person confirmed it.
And they confirmed it with us. So we're right.
So we're 100% right. But yes, you might be surprised at like if you've been to Kyoto and you know how touristy and busy some areas in Kyoto are, you might be surprised.
That happened to me the first time I went to Kyoto before I started working. I was like, this is where Nintendo is. I'm going to see it.
Yeah.
And I looked all around and around.
It's like, where the heck
And I never found it. I didn't realize it's all the way the other way.
Yeah. Somebody in the video left a comment was like, I've missed this twice now.
It can happen. It can totally happen.
So
it's understandable.
You should watch the video if you're ever interested in going there.
And then we do have one last, I think this is our last thing from Japan that we'll probably put up next week or another week. Just giving like a proper tour of that 8-4 Hashi bar, all those pieces of original artwork. Like, what is this? Who made this? What is the story? What is the story behind it? We got a very nice in-depth tour that we're going to be putting up. So that should wrap up once and for all of our Japan content. We have a playlist on the channel too. If you just want to marathon it, we have a playlist.
Wow, that was fun to put together all the Japan stuff and all those vlogs. You guys seem to love them, so we're really happy about that.
It sure was.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
All right, it's time to talk about the Nintendo Switch reveal video. But first, we have to shout out our sponsor. This episode is sponsored by Uncommon Goods.
Thank you.
You know the holidays are rolling around once we get the email about the Uncommon Goods sponsorship coming in.
Thank God, because I need to get going, honestly, on my holiday shopping.
We are here. Spark something uncommon this holiday season with incredible hand-picked gifts from Uncommon Goods. There are a lot of people in my life, I think everybody has a couple people like this where it's like, it's the holidays, I should give them a gift. I don't know what to give them.
True.
Because I've given them, I put my mother in this case.
Yes.
I've had many Christmas.
My stepdad is in this bucket.
With my dear mother, and we've exchanged many gifts, and it's like, we don't have much left.
The whole of your life.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like you want to get them something nice, but you also don't want to get them something for the sake of getting them something.
Right.
And that's where it's really nice to go to a place like Uncommon Goods because they have some beautiful, handmade, original things. And just scrolling through it can spark some creativity, you know, about like what you can give somebody.
Yes, I'm giving you a $10 Chili's gift card for Christmas this year.
I thought it was Chipotle.
I cannot give that to my dear mother.
No, she
Last
can't
year,
do
I gave her something great from Uncommon Goods. It was like a book reading set that was this handmade wooden thing that had this kind of like, you know, tinted wooden.
You can put your book on top.
You could put the book on it. You know, save what page you're on. It had a little spot for a drink and, you know, for your glasses and other stuff, and she loved it. She still uses it, so I count that as a big win. Thanks to Uncommon Goods. Found something that I really wouldn't have found anywhere else.
Yeah, I really like it because you are supporting smaller artists and independent businesses, and a lot of these products are handcrafted. I got my mom this really beautiful necklace. She loves to garden, and this necklace is encased in resin, but there's like real dried flowers in it.
Oh.
And it's so beautiful, and it's, you know, really one of a kind. And yeah, I really love the idea of supporting, you know, smaller businesses as well.
Solve the conundrum of gifts for your mom or somebody else with Uncommon Goods. To get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/Kit and Krysta. That's uncommongoods.com/Kit and Krysta for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary.
And we're going to put the link right over here and also in the description below.
Yes.
All right.
Switch reveal video.
Story time.
This was October 2016. What were you doing in October 2016? Like what was your role?
Yeah.
Like what was happening? What was your state of mind at Nintendo?
This was in the sort of the end of that Wii U era.
Doldrums?
We were kind of out of the doldrums at that point because we had been working on Switch and we knew about Switch. We had seen the Switch. We had like done all that stuff leading up to this. But you were still kind of feeling that sense of like unease and just kind of antsiness.
Well, when you have that much bad luck and a long string of bad luck, you know, your mind starts to wonder. It's like, well, this seems cool, but what do I know? Like,
right, you feel a little doubtful.
Yeah, it's like, is this just going to be? Is this going to be another dud? Like, you can't completely shake. When you've been doing five years.
You got those voices in your head
on the Wii U of like, well, what if it doesn't? Or maybe I'm misreading this, or maybe this company's just lost its way.
Yeah, for sure. I think we had been in the Wii U, we call it the sad Wii U days, and we had sort of been like hammered so many times, and we were just like shells of people at that point. And sure, Nintendo was doing some fun things. We were given like a lot of creative license on stuff, but it was kind of like you were just kind of hobbling along, and you're kind of getting numb to the fact that your company is kind of failing, you know?
Yeah.
And we had seen the Switch already, you know, we had touched it and felt it, and we all, I think collectively as a company, like dared to hope, a little spark.
Sure.
You kind of look to the very end of that tunnel and you see a little light.
Yeah.
Kind of blinking in the distance, and you're like, can we get there? Is it going to be all right? Are we going to do this? And you get the little glimmer in your heart, but you're also a little nervous to like dream big about it being like a hit.
Yes.
So that's kind of, I think, not only me, but collectively as like a company, everybody was kind of feeling that, you know?
As far as this specific video is concerned, what was your role in this video, if any?
So I was on the comms team. I was still PR manager at the time. So
this was before you were appointed the lead for Nintendo Switch.
It was.
Yes.
I think I actually knew at this point.
Oh.
But I was like semi-involved in like the lead up to like the press stuff on this, because obviously when the reveal happens, there's going to be press around it. I think we were putting together like some general like reactive like FAQs based on what we were going to be revealing. This is the first reveal. I mean, the first reveal was that tweet saying NX is coming, which was like a nothing. And then the second reveal was this, which had like, you know, you can actually see the system, all that stuff. But we still weren't revealing like hardware specs. We weren't revealing like a lot of like technical information. So I think I was working on like some Q&A stuff about like once the video was revealed, we're going to get like bombarded probably with press stuff. So I started doing that. At this point, we were also like in the early days of like doing strategy work on like who is the audience for like the boring marketing stuff, or not, maybe not boring. It was interesting to me, but all that stuff was kind of like happening in the background, like the beginnings of it. What were you doing?
Yeah, I mean that was really kicking off, the road to the launch, which was not that far away.
Yeah.
So I think we knew like after that the big next step was that event in January.
Yes.
So that was kind of like, all right,
Yes.
now we really have to do a lot of the work
to
get that ready. And there were a lot of holidays in between then. So it was like, kind of like, get going.
Yes.
I really didn't, as far as this specific video was concerned, I really didn't have an official role. I was not on the social team yet. I was still on the PR team, and I was not leading Nintendo Switch. At that point, I knew I was going to be leading Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
But as far as this specific video was concerned, like I didn't have to like review it or like help make it or help release it. But like similarly, like I was part of the group that was like reviewing all those FAQs and other materials just to give input. So that was an interesting place to be, like a little bit of a slightly detached perspective of like, I know everything that's going on, but I don't have to do the dirty work to do it.
You were like one step removed from it a little bit, so you can actually have like a bit of like different perspective. Because when you're in it for too long, sometimes you like lose your perspective too. And I wasn't like as deep as some other people, but I was like on that team.
Yes.
I was working on sort of the things around this reveal. I was like one piece of that cog, I guess, or whatever it is. Yeah.
What was your very first reaction when you saw this? Obviously, before it actually came out for the public.
Yeah, so like I feel like this, again, we said at the top, like this really not only was an iconic moment in gaming history, but really marked like a different way Nintendo started doing stuff. Nintendo typically, when we were doing stuff prior to the Wii U days, we would reveal things as everyone did in an E3 press conference. You would have Mr. Iwata, Reggie get on stage, they would hold the thing up, and then that would be sort of the way that you would do things. And Nintendo started doing Nintendo Directs, and of course that was like before this reveal video happened, but it really started to like set into motion this idea of like, we're not going to be doing stuff the same way, especially for this new system anymore. Like, we're not going to be sort of burdened by someone else's event or whatever. We're going to make announcements when we want to make it, and we're going to make it the way we want to. And so this video really, I think this way that this was revealed in this video really marked that mentality. And it's very interesting to see it play out. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, this is huge. Like, this is like hardware stuff is so big. It's like, again, we were in like the Wii U doldrums, so we were trying to get out of it. And like, this is the decision that was made this type of reveal would give this system its best chance. And it was like an interesting, slightly scary place to be because Nintendo's never done something like this before. I don't think anyone really at that time has really done something like this before in the games industry, so you were kind of like pioneering it in a way. And this was really like this vision of this one guy that we've talked about a lot, Kuratsune-san, who was like pretty embedded in our office for a while, and then he was like the like creative guy in Nintendo Japan.
Yes, he was based in Japan and came to visit NOA for a couple years and then went back. But like he was like the brains behind this operation. Yes, he is the marketing muscle that makes Nintendo move these days and has been really since then.
Right.
And a lot of kind of the marketing approach you can attribute back to him.
Right.
But I agree. Like it was a very like almost shocking like change of direction. Whereas when you would first see a piece of hardware, you would get a very like kind of bland video of like, this is the Nintendo Switch. It has 4 buttons. The screen is this big. Like just like the specs. And it was like, we're throwing all that out the window. There's actually no like speaking or like text or anything. It's like, you're just watching these people.
There was no specs in it.
There's nothing. No, you're just watching these people interact with this thing and you're seeing the games and you're seeing, all the different ways that you can do it. And that kind of became, even like you still see it today, like the mentality was like, let's show the occasions
Yes.
where you can play and enjoy Nintendo Switch because
Lifestyle.
there's so many different combinations. Like
Right.
people may not even think
Right.
unless we actually show them.
Right.
So the guys in the car playing Mario Kart.
The airplane.
The airplane.
Yes.
The rooftop. We'll get back to that.
Yes.
There were, all of those different occasions, and that became this through line that you would see
drumbeat
in all the future ads. It was like the guy walking the dog, and coming back to play some Zelda, and it was a really just effective way that again was like such a sharp break with the way that they had done it before. That was like. This was very much show, not tell, and it had been much the opposite up to that point.
Yeah, so it took a little bit of mental gymnastics to like get on board.
Right.
And it was sort of like get on board or get off the train situation. Like you were being told what to do at this point.
Yes.
And then we continue to be told what to do for like pretty much the entirety of the Switch life.
Yes.
By this guy. So, and hey, you know what? Whatever he was doing was working. So it's hard to argue with it,
Yeah, I mean, again, most of the time, like you can't really argue with success. Like we definitely had moments where we did argue.
Yes.
But in this case, it was like, no, this feels like the right thing to do. It feels like a fresh start for us.
It really did.
And this product and the company, this feels like the right thing here.
Yeah.
But apparently not everybody felt that way.
Yeah, apparently, no, not everybody felt that way. It was really, because it's very jarring. Like, if you have been at Nintendo for like 20 years and you have revealed like many, many pieces of hardware throughout the years.
People need to know how many buttons there are.
People want to know specs. And like, there's lots of people at the company that still had the mentality of like, we need to play in the same playground as Xbox and PlayStation.
Oh, yes.
And talk about our specs.
Yes.
And it's like, you would never win on that playground.
Yeah.
You would get your butt kicked on that playground.
I do think for that January event, they did have that video that was made by that team who always likes to do that, where it's like the 3D model and they sweep around and like the screen is 6.2
and
inches.
It's like that little like arrow thing that comes, the little text like pops up.
Yeah, it's like this is what the reveal would have been.
Exactly.
If old Krasne-san had not taken the reins.
There was a lot of drama though. There was a lot of like headbutting.
Right.
I was in a few meetings like where they were kind of doing storyboards and things like that. Like the early days of here's what the vision of what is this going to look like.
Yeah.
And people were not on board.
I mean, it's different.
Yeah,
So it's natural that there's going to be a range of
emotions,
opinions, and like we were not a part of them, but we heard that there were some back and forths. Like, are we certain that this is the right direction?
Definitely, there were like some very high up people too on the NOA side that were not really on board, but in the end, it was sort of like, well, too bad. We've heard your opinion.
It's like this isn't really up for discussion.
That's exactly what it was. It was the door had completely closed.
Right.
It was like, we are doing it this way, get on board.
Yeah.
We're not discussing
Those are the moments
anymore.
where you realize like, oh yeah, we're a subsidiary of this big company.
Exactly.
It's like we're actually not in charge at all.
Exactly.
We're just here to do the work.
You have no agency. It's okay.
You can pretend like you do, but you're not there to do that.
Exactly. Exactly. This was really the beginning of that. I was too dumb at the time to realize, because I was like, no, we still haven't. Our voice still matters.
Yeah.
But then as we went on the journey of Switch, it really became clear to us.
I mean, Mr. Iwata was good at that. Like, he would listen. And like, I think if the right person, made the persuasive right argument, like, his mind could be changed. Whereas this new regime was like, no, we're good. We got this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. This was one of the earliest, I think, moments where we were kind of that example was being set to us.
Thanks for your feedback. You're wrong. The answer is no.
Exactly. And like at the time, it was like such early days that we were like, oh, it's okay. We're still in the early days of this relationship.
Yeah.
Like,
we're figuring it out.
Yeah, I could change him.
We'll come around.
Every girl says,
I can change him.
He's a little rough around the edges, but I could change him. We couldn't change him. Spoiler alert, we couldn't change him. But his vision was like really like spot on, like people wanted clearly this new approach to learning about new hardware, especially from Nintendo. And yes, after all the storyboarding, we were watching rough cuts at the time, really seeing this, like the word that he would use was occasions, which is why you were saying occasions, and now I'm getting like flashbacks.
we heard that word a lot.
And now
Occasion.
It's like, it's making me like a little woo. But yeah, like it's like that, and then they came up with that tagline, like play anytime, anywhere with anyone, and like that whole thematic was like the thematic for pretty much like the whole time of Switch. And it was like set really clearly right in that reveal trailer, which was kind of amazing, especially after all of the confusion, the years of confusion that we endured with Wii U and the changing, you know, the re-explaining that we had to do, the confusion hole that we were in that we could not dig out of. Having something so crystal clear as to like why this thing is cool.
Yeah, because again,
was amazing.
Again, you doubt yourself because like, well, the Wii U, like we failed communicating that concept. The Switch, it's not
as complicated.
It's not. Is this immediately intuitive? Like, it's not a box that you put under your TV. Like, there's different things that you can do, like taking off a Joy-Con, or people are gonna understand. You doubt yourself.
You do doubt yourself, but once we started seeing the rough cuts, we were like, okay, I think people are gonna get this, and at least it's not as confusing as Wii U. And the name is good. It's very like Switch obviously means like you can switch different modes. You know, like it. There's like some good checklists of like things that are gonna bode well for us, you know.
Yeah.
So we were feeling like okay. I think like we were like again like the light of the tunnel is getting a little bit bigger, like cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. And we were not at the shoot when they were actually filming this, but we did catch a few stories from some of the people who were, and obviously, you know, a lot of those scenes, and again specifically the scene with Karen on the rooftop, you can tell like, it's in the middle of a big city. Like they're on a tall building, they're surrounded by other tall buildings.
Right.
And like, you know, you maybe like didn't think about it. You know, you don't have to worry about it if you're just consuming it. But for the people making it, it's like there's a lot of people who could potentially see
onto
this rooftop where we are, you know, showing off this thing.
Yeah.
Like, could somebody with like a photo be like, oh,
binoculars?
What's this weird gizmo that I saw them shooting a commercial for?
Yeah, this was like
in this big city.
Yeah, this was live actors,
real
obviously.
people,
real people.
Happened.
You were not shooting hardware in like a studio.
Chat GPT did not make this video.
This is not done on like a sound stage. You know, this is not like Game of Thrones level like fake dragons in a green screen. Literally, they were in like a real place getting all these shots.
Yeah.
And we were talking to some of our friends on the advertising team that were working on this, and they were saying like, like people could like literally look onto the rooftop and see the system. And what if someone took like a spy shot of it?
Totally.
And you can see like a huge camera crew, like what's going on over there. Like you can't really hide it, you know?
No. So they were being very careful about that.
They had a very tiny team working on it too. Like there was like way smaller than normal commercial shoots for this project.
Right, and I mean,
which made it hard.
I would be so nervous about those actors. Because it's like, you're on an NDA, but do you really know, like, no, this is really important that you need to keep your mouth shut over this.
They probably got scared
I'm sure
straight,
they did.
though.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
And, you know, we also heard that, like, a lot of the, you know, Switch systems that they were using in the shoot, like, they weren't actually working systems.
They had nothing inside.
Dummies. Like, and we would often have those at, like, an E3 for hardware. Like somebody's doing an interview. It's like, well, I need a prop. And it's like, well, we actually don't have a production thing to give you, but we have this dummy shell. And,
it's like a shell.
You can. This is the actual, you know, what it would look and feel like, but it doesn't actually play. It doesn't have any guts.
There's no guts inside.
There's not any guts inside.
It's like when you go to IKEA and you go look at like the TVs, but the TV's like fake. It has like a fake screen.
Oh yeah,
it's like a plastic screen.
And that's actually something they do a lot in, you know, ads or other videos. Is like, because they need to get, you know, you need to be able to see the footage. Like if you actually film somebody playing like a system, like a lot of times there's glare, or the angle's weird, and it's like I can't exactly see it. Like they'll comp it on later in a way that you cannot tell. It looks perfect.
They basically tape on all these like dots.
Right, so they know how to
do it. Yeah. It's really hard to do.
Little clip.
Yeah, I mean, some of those scenes were like moving cars and like weird angles, you know, like so they had to do all of that. Like they say, fix it in post as a joke, but it's actually a lot of work.
Yeah, shooting anything for the Switch outside is really rough because it's like the screen is not like as bright as like a phone where you can't always see it. Like if you're in broad daylight, even if you have the brightness maxed out,
it's really hard.
hard
I
to
remember
see.
original Switch, not OLED.
Not OLED, not bright.
Yeah, and it was like way darker. It's like way more, you know, primitive. You know, you think 8 years now, like, it's looking pretty good. But back in the day, it was like pretty, V1 was not like super bright, you know?
So again, people were feeling good after they started to see this, but there was still a mentality of let's try and anticipate where people could get confused or where people maybe won't have the most positive reaction.
Right.
So
we're a little traumatized still from those Wii U days.
Yeah, and I think I think this was a smart thing to try and get ahead of. Was like let's not be caught flat-footed and have to react to that. Again, let's try and anticipate and be ready. If we need to do something else in the moment, let's have it ready to go and let's know what it is and let's be collectively prepared.
Right.
So there were a few things that we did, and we got tapped on the shoulder to do one of these things.
Yeah.
They said, hey Kit and Krysta, like maybe you should do a video with Reggie where you're just kind of talking about, some of the details that were in the reveal. Again, focusing on some of those anticipated points where people may not totally get it.
Right.
And just have this conversation where you can lay it out, like be very clear about
actually say the words.
How something works. If they didn't make the connection in the video, we're not going to plan to release it. We're going to sit on it. And it's kind of like to break the glass in case of emergency. Like there were a couple things like that, and we had one of those. So we did that video with Reggie. We had it ready to go.
Yeah, we edited. We shot and edited this video.
I remember the dock was something that we talked about. Like, are people going to understand what the dock does?
Yeah.
And is the dock have a processor? Is the dock, is this where the video processing happens?
Nope. Yep. Exactly.
We talked about a lot of things like that.
We talked about the detachable Joy-Con. I remember.
Yes.
We talked about just the 3 ways, the 3 modes: tabletop mode, docked mode, handheld mode. Remember that? People were really freaked out that one of the modes was going to get basically redheaded stepchild. That's tabletop. It became tabletop mode. But in the beginning, remember they were like, we need to make sure
they're
that
all the same. They're all
the
equal.
modes are equal.
Yes.
We want people to use them all equally in their life. You really need to drive that home.
Right.
And then, of course, no one used tabletop mode because it sucked. We use it on
We've used it on airplanes. What are you talking about?
The first gen kickstand was garbage.
Oh,
Let's be real. That thing broke off all the time.
Flimsy.
But now the OLED one is really nice.
It's good.
Yeah. So we had this probably a 10 to 12 minute video with Reggie where we just went through and had a conversation.
Deep on information.
Yeah.
But again, we had, the moment after that video went live, we had meeting after meeting after meeting, analyzing the results, analyzing the conversations, and everybody said, no, this
I think we're good.
This went great.
Us included. We were we don't need to do this.
People got it. People understood it. There is no need for anything else, because the more you put out there, the more you can disrupt.
No, don't disrupt it.
It's wait, they said this? Oh, this actually sucks.
And this was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Think about it nowadays when people are actually nuts. Imagine the mentality nowadays where they're just gonna overanalyze everything.
The shaky state of society today.
This was pre-pandemic. We were still normal before this, okay? But us included, we were sitting in the room with everybody else, and we were we don't need this. We don't need this. Good that we made it.
We do not need to do anything
else. But we all collectively feel pretty good. About the reaction to it.
Right.
Yeah.
As happened, there were some kind of memeable moments or just some things that stood out to people that became big trends. Karen on the rooftop was definitely one. Another one was, remember people doing they thought that the Joy-Con grip looked like a dog, and there was all that fan art of the dog. Apparently, I love that fan art, but apparently I've been told that the fan art eventually went in a creepy direction, believe it or not. Can you believe that? No. Creepy fan art? What?
But it was, the doggy was so cute.
Yes. So, again, there was this feeling that, yes, we had satisfied the need, we had met the goal for this initial video, and we don't really need to do anything until January. We need to get ready for January. But some of these trends became so big and so widespread, people did get the itch.
Yeah.
What if
we just did something with Karen?
What if we did something what if we got Karen in here? We did some pictures with her. We did a video with her. What can we do with Karen?
Yeah,
Karen's so popular. We got to do something with Karen.
Can we get Reggie on the rooftop of Karen?
Exactly.
Can we? Yeah, people get
Reggie
real
on the
antsy.
NOA rooftop with Karen.
That was actually an idea someone had.
I have no doubt. Yes.
I was literally are you crazy? And also no. I'm gonna put it out there.
Oh.
I never liked Karen.
Why? Maybe you're the Karen yourself.
No,
I don't.
I would never play on a rooftop.
Why?
Excuse me, no.
Don't hate on introverts.
I didn't really love it.
Don't do that.
I thought it was very contrived, that scene.
Yeah, that one's probably not.
That's probably the worst
but that's
scene.
why people loved it.
I know, because it was ridiculous.
Like, this is so out there. It's like...
Did you like that scene less than the Mario Kart hamming it up in the car where you're like,
or the guy playing Skyrim on the airplane who looked like a legit serial killer? He's like got a body in his duffel bag.
You know who I like the most in that entire ad? Is the guy that was playing Breath of the Wild in the very beginning with his big giant Great Dane.
Yeah.
It's like, why can we have like a normal sized dog in this video? No, we need a Great Dane.
A big dog.
We need a giant horse dog in this video for some reason. But anyhow,
but this was a good test of discipline, where it's like, can we stick to what we said we would do, and we're not going to do anything else until January. And again, there were people who were like, I want to do it, and then they were just like, no, we're not doing it. I told you this. I told you. Don't ask me again.
Right. People got a little mad.
I'm going to turn around.
Sit
You're
down.
Gonna get grounded.
We're going to turn this car right around if you don't shut up. They really mommed us in this time. Yeah. They really did, honestly. Because again, we were still like a little like, you know, weird from the Wii U stuff.
And at that point, the social team was a lot more freewheeling than they were later on.
You weren't in charge of them yet.
Before they got, you know, some slaps on the wrist. These freewheeling moments, they wanted to do it.
Yeah, it's hard to resist the lure of the meme. It's really hard to resist it.
It is.
And especially because we were a company that had been such losers for so long.
We're finally popular again.
And like you're finally like, it's like that part in like that rom-com when you take your glasses off and you're actually hot. Like Nintendo took its glasses off and they were actually hot, and then they were like, everybody wants to take me to the dance. I'm gonna do some stuff. But then it's like, no, don't do it. Don't sell yourself short now.
Yeah.
So you're right. It was a exercise in discipline, and then we all put our heads down after that and really got to work on that January event.
Yes.
We were like, great. This thing did what it needed to do. Now we're going to move on to the next thing, which is like people will get to touch it and feel it and play it.
Right.
And then they will come to their own conclusions and they will say the good stuff for us, so we don't have to do anything right now.
Right.
And then, you know, that it really worked. It really did work.
Exactly.
Yeah, it really did
But
work.
it was a huge boost to the morale because, you know, we just knew that this thing was going to be a positive product for us, not a negative.
Let out the breath of relief,
after just, you know, how are we going to make it for these 5 or so years through the Wii U? Like we were, you know, doing as much as we could with the 3DS, but, you know, it felt like we were sometimes overdoing that too.
Totally.
And it was just like, okay, things are going to be okay.
We're going to be all right.
We're going to get out of this rut. And the company just kind of got back on track.
Mm-hmm. Totally. It was great.
One last thing. So a little bit later on, this was when I had taken over on social. The advertising team came to me and said, like, "Hey, we're actually going to need to take this video down." And I was like, "Excuse me?" And you know, this happens, you know, for so many companies. They're like, "Yeah, there was some little detail with some of the rights that we had, and you know, those are expiring, so we need to, you know, we just can't have it up anymore." And it's like, this is going to be a huge issue, and this is going to become a big story of why do we do it? Like, we're going to get all these questions.
Yeah.
And it's like, also, like, yeah, this thing had accomplished its goal, but it is like, this is an important video for the company, and for us to just like
important thing,
make it vanish, like, kind of sucks.
Yeah, it was like an important moment in gaming history, I would say.
Right.
So you're like deleting this thing that is part of history off of the face of the earth, which is kind of
right.
Like
and that was something where I was like surprised that like they had not even thought ahead about this. Right. Of like, why do we not just take the option that lets us have this up in perpetuity?
Yeah.
And there have been a lot of other situations also where they've had other videos that, again, for whatever reason, they've had to take down. That I think is just a missed opportunity. So hopefully going forward, they will take that route that maybe costs a bit more resource-wise of like, yes, this will be up. We don't need to worry about it. We don't need to make it vanish.
We have money.
And make people ask the question, oh, clearly they took this down because they were announcing the
next thing.
The Switch Pro or the Switch OLED or the whatever. Yeah, I'm convinced now.
Yeah.
Because
that's what happens. That's what happens.
But I was really shocked. I was like, hey, we have to take this down. What? And
how many views did it have at that point?
I mean, it was still getting views at that point. Again, I think people just went back to watch it because they like it.
It's fun, yeah.
It's like these people already know what the Switch is, but it's like, let me relive this again. This was fun.
This was fun.
I like this.
Exactly.
So I was in this great place where it was just like reinforcing the positive feelings that people had, and you know, it has since taken down. They have given in on that.
Yeah.
I guess the kit successor wasn't there to shake their head at them and tell them
Yeah, you told them
knock
no,
it off?
extend it.
Yeah.
I think you had extended it by a number of years or whatever.
A bit longer?
They had gone back and was like, okay, we can maybe like renegotiate some stuff. But then the person after you, because it got taken down like for realsies. And,
after we left.
Yeah, like a couple years ago.
Right.
Which is really sad. I mean, you can still find it, obviously.
It's still, but for it to not be on
the official Nintendo channel,
I think it's just a bummer.
Hopefully,
put it in the Nintendo Museum. Oh, we don't have the rights. Lame.
Unlisted. Hopefully, they didn't delete it. Unlisted.
Oh.
Those views,
Delete
those
it?
beautiful comments.
Well, it's that, and it's the old Nintendo Minute episode, living in the unlisteds.
Oh, someone needs to break into that vault. They can heist those videos.
We're just hanging out. The cool kids hanging out in the
unlisted vault.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. What a moment in time, right?
Wonderful to relive that golden moment.
Yes.
And
you don't get a lot of these.
Yes. We are at a point where daily people are asking. I wake up and I look at my phone and I see
today's the day. Here's why today's the day. Yeah. Here's why I'm not giving up on this week.
Here's the 5 reasons why today's the day the Switch 2 gets announced in 30 minutes.
Let me do an analysis on the whole month of October and this week of October.
And then they just do it again tomorrow. One day these people will be right and they will feel vindicated. Like, I was right. I only got it wrong for 100 times, but now I'm right.
I mean, you can be right 2 times a day. What did they say?
Yes. A broken clock is right twice a day.
A broken alarm.
Unless it's an alarm when the thing just doesn't turn on.
Oh. Our alarm was
in about 24 minutes, you might hear an alarmo chime, the hourly chime.
Oh, we didn't turn it off.
No, you might hear it.
You might
Eagle-eared podcast
maybe
consumers.
We'll pause for it.
No, we're going to forget.
We're going to forget.
Yes. We have a whopper of a news section and a games we're playing section. But first, we have another sponsor to shout out. This episode is sponsored by ExpressVPN.
Thank you.
Halloween is next week.
Yay!
And one of the ways to get in the spirit for Halloween is to watch a good scary movie. But there are so many different streaming services out there, and it's like they all have some Halloween movies, some have others.
Yep.
It gets expensive if you want to watch everything, but not if you have ExpressVPN.
That's right.
Let me tell you why. ExpressVPN lets you change your online location. So I'll give you an example. Netflix has different Halloween movies only in certain regions of the world.
Come on, Netflix.
If you want to watch The Exorcist, you need to be in the Japan region. If you want to watch I Know What You Did Last Summer, you need to be in South Korea. If you want to watch The Black Phone, that's in Hong Kong. Megan, Italy, you name it.
Megan's a good movie. You guys should watch that movie.
You vouch for Megan. Okay. So if you get ExpressVPN, you can just change your location in a snap and have access to all of these Netflix movies.
Thousands of
That's on Netflix alone.
Shows, just on Netflix alone. Yeah, and it's super easy too. It works on a multitude of devices, your laptop, your phone, your iPad, whatever else. You just easily change your location using ExpressVPN. It's like 2 clicks. And bam, you're in whatever country it is you need to be in, and you can have access to all those extra shows. And it's so awesome.
And this is not just a Netflix thing. Like all these big streaming services do this.
Right.
So, depending on what other services you have, you just get more extra value out of it. And I totally agree. Like I've been using it on all the trips, and we used it in Japan. It's like so easy and convenient to use.
And at home, I'm definitely using it to do exactly that.
Yes.
I did not know Megan was only in Italy, and now I'm going to go home and do that because that's a great movie. I love to rewatch it for Halloween.
Il Megan. Yes, that's what the movie is there. Also, use a strong encryption to protect you from, the copy says, real-life monsters.
Oh, no.
Otherwise known as hackers. Yes. Wonderful.
Data thieves.
Yes. So get your money's worth and get 3 extra months of ExpressVPN for free when you go to expressvpn.com/KitandKrysta. That's EXPRESS VPN.com/KitandKrysta. ExpressVPN.com/KitandKrysta.
Link is here and in the description below.
With those 3 extra months, you can get the Christmas movies too. Get the Halloween and the Christmas movies.
Netflix just announced their Christmas movies. There's like 40 of them.
In what country?
Just in the U.S. is 40. So
I'm confused.
There must be more.
Already.
Yeah, there must be more.
Boy, this news section.
We tried to keep it.
Things just kept happening.
Things kept happening as a thing. Yeah, that's exactly.
We made a wish to the news gods a few weeks ago. We need more news, and boy, did we get it.
Yeah, we did.
So just happened for us this morning. Mr. Sakurai released his final YouTube video.
Yeah.
Wrapping up the work on his channel.
It's amazing stuff.
Have you watched this?
I have watched this, yes.
Wow. I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm going to watch this.
Why?
I don't know. It's like, is it going to be like, how is he going to wrap this up in like an interesting way?
Like a bummer or?
No, I was just like, yeah, I think I'm probably good. Like, I'll catch a recap of it. But I was captivated by this. This was fascinating. I think this was one of his best episodes.
I like this episode. I like the Iwata episode he recently put out. Like, he really kind of wanted to end on a high note, and he totally did.
Yeah.
But yeah, he like dropped some truths in this one, which I love.
I think we have a special interest in this video because he kind of talked about his process of starting the channel and how he got everything done and how he kind of juggled other things alongside it and like how it took him to where he is now. So like, ourselves as content creators, it's like it's fun to kind of compare and contrast like
we're so
what he's doing
away from his level
from what our doing, but he had some crazy stuff. He's like, well, I wouldn't record when it's raining because you could hear the rain or there was a certain time of day because
the light was good.
The light would bother me.
So
it's like, he's bringing his very exacting processes and point of view that he usually has making games to these videos.
And he was also making games at the same time, apparently, so that was crazy.
But he did have a few bombshells. He had a gotcha moment at the beginning where he let everybody know that all the channel videos had been recorded during a little break that he had in 2022.
Right.
He kind of batch recorded all of those late in the night. Again, he would do many at a time and get them done. So, it's not like us where we're recording this week's video now. He's like, no, I don't have all this kind of time. I got other things I want to do.
And also his content is very much like almost like a lesson.
It's not pertaining to any time of year.
He
doesn't have to do the news.
No,
maybe he should. I'd like to see him react to the news.
He's like, why don't he react to the daily switch to
Sakurai reacts to Sakurai's last video? I would watch that. Yo, that was nuts, bro.
It was like playing himself.
He's got 19 YouTube windows open. It's like whoa.
But it's like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Anyways, but exactly. Like his video, the content of what he's doing is perfect for pre-recorded stuff.
Right.
So good for him for finding like a little window of time for himself to do it.
But he did also share that he does have a new game project that he is working on.
Oh yeah.
That is in development.
Mm-hmm. He's the director on it.
He's the director.
Yeah.
Yes, and is on its way. He made a comment about when it might be announced.
Yeah.
It sounds like again who knows, but it's it's been a couple years it seems that he has been working on it. So I think we should have known that,
he was doing both.
He was not taking this long of a break to do YouTube stuff.
Well,
but he was doing both. He was doing both.
Yeah, the recording is like the hardest part though.
Right.
And then like he obviously is not editing his own videos. He spent $600,000.
Well, maybe the hardest part was shelling out $600,000.
Well, maybe not
on the channel.
He's Sakurai. He has money.
He said that it was a dumb decision. He's like, I should have hit that monetize button. Could have broken even at least.
No, he wouldn't have. How many videos was it?
I don't know.
He's got
like 600,000 subs.
Yeah, but
getting a couple 100,000 views on every one of these.
Not everyone.
For a couple years.
Not everyone. Some of them are like sub 25K.
Okay, you're Mr. Sakurai's accountant now.
No, I'm just saying that he probably wouldn't have broken even. He probably would have still.
Well, he might have come closer than zero.
He doesn't need money. It's fine.
That's me point.
He's fine.
Jeez.
Anyways, but yeah, he is like obviously doing work as a game dev and very busy, I'm sure, with that. And also doing this, which is really hard.
He went through kind of like his daily schedule which was nuts.
Yeah.
There's like no breaks at all.
Right.
He was talking about he does
eat.
He did talk about going from one house to another.
Yeah,
Can't relate, spending $600,000 on a video also can't relate, sorry.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I wish I had $600,000. That sounds great. Wouldn't worry so much every day, geez.
But yeah, it was just such a fascinating look, like behind the curtain of like how he did this.
Yeah.
And, the point that I made to you earlier today was like, I really feel for these Nintendo social people because he is going to tell them, he's like, do it exactly this way. All your work in social, and guess what? I can actually tell you this now because I became an expert in this over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear anything from you.
Oh, yeah.
Save it for somebody else. Because I know I can do your job better than yourself.
And he's going to do it his exacting way.
Yes.
Which is what makes it really tough to work on his project.
I would not volunteer to work on this project.
Because he's such operating on such a higher level that you cannot get to because the man is a genius and a one-of-a-kind kind of person.
Also somewhat a maniac.
But he is someone that is unlike anybody else. And to try to get to his level is impossible for pretty much the rest of the world. But he expects you to. Is the problem. And so he's going to expect that team at Nintendo, whoever they are working on his new game, to be at that level. And now it's even a crazier level.
I thought you were a social media professional. I did this in my spare time. Losers. That's an email that somebody's going to get.
You should just ask him if we can spend $600,000 on the social
Can we get a loan? Is he giving out loans, grants, sponsors?
You know what? We can do exactly what you do. So this is what the social team's to say.
Huh?
We can do, Sakurai-san, we can do exactly what you do, but we need $600,000.
Yeah. I'm not a Nintendo employee. Get to work. That's his response.
That's literally.
Please ask your boss. I've CC'd them here.
Great. Give me the money. That's part of the. So a lot of the times the social team is we have no money.
We're putting everybody on blast now.
We have no money.
No. There's no money.
You do it for free. You own these channels.
We don't have money, Nintendo. There's no money.
There's no money from marketing.
Wow. Watch this video. It's
incredible.
Quite eye-opening.
We did a fun little vote thing on our Twitter channel.
Yes.
Asking people if they think that his next game is going to be a Smash game or not. And the results
interesting result
are here. 38.1% say yes. 61.9% no. What is your vote?
My vote is for a yes and a no. I am sticking to what I have always been saying, which is I think
Smash Ultimate Deluxe?
I think the next Smash Brothers title is Smash Ultimate Deluxe, that I think he will have a small hand in, helping to oversee.
Yes.
But as far as this big new project that he was pitching, I think that's something else.
I think so too. He did say too in the video, which was also going back to the video that we were that the episode of the podcast before last, which is about the aging.
The clock is ticking. Yes.
Ouch, of the Nintendo devs, and he literally said that in this video.
So true.
He was like, "I don't know how much longer I can do this." He talked about his health.
I believe he's in his mid-50s.
He is. We looked it up. 57. I think we said.
Right.
And so I think.
But do you see him ever? I don't see him retiring. He's not going to retire.
Not in the traditional sense. I'm not going to just go live in a cabin in the woods or live in an old folks' home or something. I'm sure he's going to maybe.
So he's going to keep working.
Do something different.
So he's going to keep working.
He's going to keep working, but it might be in a different capacity.
Yeah, but he'll still be around doing stuff.
Yeah. He might not be volunteering to produce the next brand new Smash game.
Yeah.
Because he might be over that. But he might be doing something else.
Yeah, I mean, when he says, he's run out of ideas for Smash, I kind of tend to believe him. And, there have been a lot of other reasons why he's probably felt compelled to come back and keep it going. But in this case, that would be something that I think would be a popular product.
Yeah.
That could, be the Smash product that sustains the Switch 2.
Right.
Honestly, I think we'll see on the Switch 2 a lot of things like that are maybe not up to the same high effort expenditure level as some of these big Switch games.
But it's a remastered version.
Yes.
With extra bells and whistles from Switch. Especially the early Switch days.
Exactly. And that's not to say that, the Switch 2 software output is going to be lazy, but I think they're going to be looking to see, what can we carry over? What can we keep going that people will still like?
Yeah.
That won't cost us an arm and a leg and that won't have a dev team working for 10 years.
Right. And I think they really like that model from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That was a model that just made them a lot of money, really, for minimum effort.
Yeah.
And so I can see them employing that exact same model to Smash Ultimate Deluxe. And having maybe a few DLC packs, more fighter packs, but nothing and they really, honestly, they don't need to. Smash Ultimate is so good. They really don't have to reinvent the wheel there.
Yeah. So what would you want him to do?
Kid Icarus.
What is your dream project? Kid Icarus.
Kid Icarus. Please make a Kid Icarus
new
game.
Kid Icarus?
Yes.
I'm ready to get Carpal Tunnel again.
Please give me Carpal Tunnel. Let me have the claw hands. I want to play it. Give me a stand. Give me like a thing, an easel. Give me a glove. I don't know. Whatever. I'm ready for it. I want it. He's a genius.
I'm going to stand by something I said a while back and got a very negative reception from a certain fan base that I don't really care. I still think it would be cool to do.
What?
I would like him to go back and make another Kirby game. I think that would be wonderful.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And I'm not saying that we disband the current Kirby team. They're doing amazing things. But we get a lot of Kirby games in each generation. I imagine that team.
Just do one of them.
I imagine that team, the core Kirby team, is going to want to keep working on the Forgotten Land path because that was such a huge hit.
Oh, yeah.
Great. Let's have Mr. Sakurai make a new 2D Kirby game.
Oh, man. That'd be cool.
I shared that on social like a year or two ago. I was really surprised at how negative the response was. It was like, no, those games are actually not as good. The series is so healthy now. We don't need this.
Well, maybe he has some new ideas. What do you think, guys? After like a long time, someone might have a new idea. I don't know.
Why wouldn't you want a great game developer who like created this IP to return and try and do something new with it?
Let's do Meteos.
Oh, God. I actually really like Meteos.
I love Meteos, but I mean, you don't need to like redo.
That made me roll my eyes.
Meteos.
Yes, so that's what I'm going to say. But clearly, he wants to do something a little fresh.
I think so.
He wants a little.
He's the best when he's like fresh, you know.
Yes.
He's like truly a genius when he's like just giving a little bit of creative.
Look at the menus I cooked up for this game. Wow.
Stretch those wings on your menus, okay?
I've been playing some metaphor, and I got an idea for a menu that's going to knock your socks off that I can't do in Smash Brothers. So I need to make this whole other game.
Those menus are pretty nice looking.
Wow, he's going to show them a thing or two. Whoa. The menu god.
Let's do it. Let's do it. We're ready.
Next, Super Nintendo World in Orlando, Florida is opening on May 22nd.
Birthday trip.
2025. That is 4 days after your birthday.
Birthday trip.
We could do that. I think so.
Commit.
But we've talked a lot about how it's not great to be there on day one for these things.
True.
So this is going to be bigger than the Hollywood Park.
Yes, they have more room there, so
yes, so it will be kind of matching what they have in the Japan Park.
Right.
So something that the Hollywood Park does not have is the Baby Yoshi ride, which I wanted to go on that.
Yes.
And they're going to have the whole Donkey Kong section, which they're calling Donkey Kong Country. They talk about these two separate parts. Super Mario Land and Donkey Kong Country.
And when you look at it, it definitely looks like, when you walk into Super Mario World, in this case they're calling it Super Mario Land, you do feel like you're kind of immersed in that IP, right? It does look like in the Donkey Kong Country, it's going to be sort of that kind of same experience where there's like lots of little secrets other than just the ride and all that stuff, which is super everywhere. Cool. There better be like, let's do a banana count in this. What is your banana?
Just banana. Help yourself to a banana. We got piles of bananas everywhere.
You know how that
daily
there's like
refreshes
that game
of bananas free,
where they make you guess how many jelly beans are in the jar. How many bananas do you think
banana pile
is going to be in Donkey Kong
Time
Country?
To start practicing.
It's going to be like 300,000 bananas or something crazy like that, right?
That's a lot
something
of
like
that's
that.
A lot.
Yeah, I think so.
It is interesting that the Donkey Kong section in Japan is not opened. They are really like dragging that out as long as they can.
Maybe they want to match to this.
Well, no, they've committed to it happening this year. And it seems
it is this year.
From people who are watching the park, they seem to be like, yeah, this is done. Like whenever they're ready, they could open this. So
maybe maybe it's just a time.
So I don't know exactly what they're waiting for, but
for bigger foot traffic, or
it's going to be fine. They're going to be running lotteries on lotteries.
Oh, the lotteries.
Daily to get into this thing. The holiday traffic.
You're going to get a lottery on the banana. You win a banana.
A banana lottery, yes.
A banana lottery.
Wonderful.
And you get one banana and no entry. Can you take the banana peel into the Mario Kart ride and throw it at each other?
That is frowned upon. Don't do that. Don't do that.
That's a good crossover right there.
But this is part of this bigger Universal Epic Universe theme park that has these kind of big themed areas.
Very cool. Yeah, really cool.
So yeah, this is a major new initiative, and yeah, this will be exciting news. It's great. It takes how many years have we been talking about this Orlando theme park? Like 10 years or something?
No,
I think when did they first?
10 years.
It might be. When did they first announce this?
Not before we Switch was announced. Was
yes,
it?
It was. It's been a long time. So nice to finally see that.
I can't believe it.
Pay off.
I wonder what kind of food they have in the Donkey Kong Land. Banana splits?
Moving on.
Peanut something?
It's not banana puns. This is something that happened, shortly after we recorded the podcast last week, but I wanted to talk about something going on at Bandai Namco.
Oh, no.
Bloomberg, remember Bloomberg? We had Jason Schreier on last week. We were talking about, some of the deep reporting that Bloomberg had been doing, Schreier bombs, and also Mr. Mochizuki in Japan.
Yes.
Apparently, Bandai Namco is trying to reduce their staff and, quote, sending workers to rooms where they're given nothing to do.
This is a traditionally Japanese approach to reducing staff, is what they wrote.
So it's like, we want you to leave, but we can't fire you, so we're just going to put you in this room and hope that you resign.
And put the pressure on them to leave voluntarily.
Bandai Namco did respond and said that they don't do this. But interesting that this is what Bloomberg reported. Yeah. It also came out that they were talking about either canceling or pausing development on a couple games, some anime stuff, Naruto and One Piece, as well as a project commissioned by Nintendo.
Uh-oh.
So, wow, this is a big story. It's a lot of big claims here.
Yeah.
This thing about Nintendo, I mean, I don't think if you're making a game on behalf of Nintendo, you can't say, I'm stopping. They have to be the one to say, please stop.
Unless you went to Nintendo and you're like, we have to stop because you're not paying us enough for
I don't think that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
They've done a lot of games for Nintendo. I think they have those things figured out.
Okay.
I don't think that's how it works.
All right.
You think they're gonna just pull the plug and, hey, Nintendo, yeah, we're done. We're taking a break.
Maybe they're trying to call their bluff.
What are you talking about?
It's like that thing where you're like, I'm not paying $30 for this dress. I'm going to walk out the store unless you give it to me for $15.
All right, this is maybe one of the worst takes I've heard from you in a while.
Know. Business deals gone bad. Could be a business deal gone bad. I don't know. Or maybe the project was changed by Nintendo in some way and they weren't happy about it. There's so many different options.
And either way, they're not stopping. They have been commissioned to make the game. They're going to make the game until Nintendo tells them to stop. Or until something major happens, but they're taking the
something major happens.
They're taking the directions from Nintendo. They're not themselves deciding to stop.
Something must have happened at Nintendo.
The anime games.
There's a lot of anime games.
I mean, that seems to be all they do.
Right.
And that's like my takeaway from this story is like, what happened to the classic Namco franchises? Because it seems like aside from Tekken, like they're kind of gone.
Tekken, yep.
And they're making nothing but anime games. Some of them are really good. Like, people love this new Dragon Ball game.
It looked amazing.
It looks great.
Yeah.
So that's good, but there are a lot of them.
Yeah.
And then they seem to be picking up and publishing, some odds and ends of, like, Western developed stuff. Mm-hmm. And when I look at it, it's like, again, I'm saying this as a former Bandai Namco employee.
Oh, my.
Feels a little bit like the company has lost its way. Whereas you had this whole other half of your business that used to be making hits not that long ago. And for whatever reason, you decided these franchises, like, we can't do anything with these franchises. More anime. Hit the anime button. Make that anime.
Yeah, it seems like the decision, or smells like the decision of a out of touch executive.
And Harada, who leads Tekken, like, he's been very transparent in talking about, like, there's a lot of stuff that goes into the business of modern game development that's hard.
Sure.
And I think they are just reckoning with a lot of that.
Absolutely.
Where maybe some of those Namco franchises are just, the investment's just too big to realize it in a current generation way. But it's a bummer.
It is a bummer.
Because I really love classic Namco. I loved working on those when I was there, and it's sad to see that they're not there. Like, we went to their booth at TGS and it's like, what? Okay, you got all this anime stuff, you got a giant Goku, that's cool. But where's the rest? Where's the other half? It's not there. So it just bums me out.
It's kind of swayed way in the other direction, and maybe they are really like seeing the effects of that now.
This is one of the great Japanese developers that we have.
I know, it's right up there with Capcom.
Yes.
And you see Capcom doing their Capcom thing and doing a great job.
I agree, but then you see also like Konami did, they did the Silent Hill game that people love, and it's like, yes, now you finally have some momentum.
Yeah.
You revisited Castlevania. People were so hungry for that.
Right.
Why did you stop? Don't become the next Konami.
Exactly.
These are all places that I worked. I'm the problem.
You are. It's your fault.
Nintendo's next.
Oh no! Oh, here we go.
It's my fault.
It's your fault.
I'm
Sakurai's
poisoned.
gonna make some sort of like piffy little Kirby game. And it's gonna end Nintendo.
I'm poisoned. Okay. Let's move on. Get it back together. The Mario and Luigi Brothership, apparently copies of that are out there. People have been
Careful.
snooping around.
Yes, careful with if you're on spoiler alert, don't get spoiled.
As has been the case, this is how we find out who's developing the game.
Yes.
So it's come out that Acquire is the developer of this game, which was a bit of a surprise for some people. I don't think too many people had been anticipating that.
Yeah, totally.
And that's a company that has a really interesting history. So they started a long time ago working on Tenchu. Remember when we did our PlayStation collection? I had some classic Tenchu.
Tenchu is good stuff,
which is awesome.
Yeah.
Also worked on Way of the Samurai, which is a super underappreciated... I don't know if the whole series is underappreciated. I think they kind of went off the edge, but those first couple ones are really cool. But most recently, they worked on Octopath Traveler,
which is
with Square Enix, which is great. So they've got those RPG chops. Early on, Nintendo was saying that there were some, classic people who worked on the original couple Mario and Luigi games. So I have to imagine they maybe bolstered the team with some people who, left that developer when it shut down.
Right. Joined Acquire, maybe.
Maybe, when we get the inevitable ask the developer, maybe we'll find out more and who specifically. But yeah, that's one of the facts there. Interesting stuff.
They have chops.
Yeah.
Of making a great RPG, so I think we should be happy that this is the confirmed
I'm happy with this
developer, and I feel I'm sure this game looked good to begin with, but great to know that there's some really experienced people that know how to do RPGs working on it. So
and please make a new Tenchu, thank you.
P.S.
Games we're playing, we have a lot of these.
So many games, so many games.
The big one has been Super Mario Party Jamboree, which came out late last week.
Right.
And we have been playing it since. I think we should probably say at the top, we are not Mario Party mega fans.
Right. I definitely played it in a true party setting.
You told me you were having secret play sessions of Mario Party without me when we were at Nintendo, and I was shocked.
Were you, though?
I was upset.
Were you, though?
Could have been fun. I don't know.
No.
I wasn't invited, so I'll never know.
You weren't invited. But yeah, I think for me, I've always played the game in a true party setting where it's you're over at a friend's house, we're hanging out, we're either playing Mario Party or Mario Kart, Or when we were at Nintendo, we had these girl time dates. It was during the pandemic. And we would all play NSO classic Mario Party, but really it was an excuse for us to talk on the phone.
Why did you play those and not the new Mario parties?
I don't know why. It was weird. It was
weird. Online?
Yeah. We were just into the N64 Mario Party or whatever.
That's fine.
And we would just use an excuse to spend an hour and a half chatting on Discord while we kind of played in the background.
No boys with a Z allowed.
No boys allowed.
Jeez,
no boys allowed.
That's rough.
It's the No Kit Club. that was what that was. Rejected.
I'm flabbergasted at this.
Yeah. So yes, that is my history with Mario Party. I've never been a hardcore Mario Party purist, but I very much like playing it in a party setting.
I've always been a little bit on the outside looking in on this series, with my group of friends who would play, get together and play games. This was not really on the menu necessarily. Okay. It was Smash Brothers or Mario Kart or some other fighting game or other multiplayer games. So it's I've dabbled in many Mario parties, but I would definitely not say I'm an expert on any.
Yeah, I have not owned all of them.
Right.
I've owned very sporadically owned a few of them. But yes, not an expert.
Yes. That said, thoughts on this one?
Yeah, thoughts on this one. I actually was pretty looking forward to this when we played it at PAX and we had so much fun playing it at PAX. That was fun, yeah. And yeah, this one, I really like it so far because it does have some of those other modes that is not play this 2-hour board game.
Yes.
Which has been really fun. I do like the minigame island, all the stuff you can do there. Some of them are a little cumbersome, that survival mode could be fun, but you have to rematch make every single time, which I don't love. But some of those are really fun to do it in short bursts. I think if you were playing it as a hangout game, it is fun, to play that board game mode. It's still the board game mode is always hit or miss for me. I need it to not be the main thing that I'm doing because I get infuriated by the stupid
when you lose stars
stuff can happen for no reason.
Suspicious reasons.
Because Toad is just being a jerk. Yeah, I don't love that about Mario Party games because like it feels like you have no control over your destiny no matter how good or bad you do. But as a hangout game, if you're just like chit-chatting with a friend or a couple of friends and you're just playing that on the side, totally fun. So far I really like it.
I have read a bunch of the reviews and it's interesting to see like different perspectives of some people saying, I wish they took the effort they put into those mini game modes and put it into the board games or vice versa. Like people seem to be a little bit split on like what half of the game do you align with?
Yeah.
I definitely align more with the mini game mode side. They've done some interesting things with the board games, though, where it's like a combination of new and old boards. They've introduced this pro mode.
Yes.
Where they're kind of trying to cut down on some of that tomfoolery that gets people mad or feeling like,
I haven't actually tried the pro rules yet, but you say you have.
I did.
And do they make a big difference?
I wouldn't say it's a big difference.
Okay.
In pro rules, the games are always 12 rounds. I don't know how they decided on 12, but that's the number. You cannot change that. And then there's other things like, at the end, people get awarded a bonus star, and you don't know what that is.
Right.
In pro rules, they tell you, like, this is how you get the bonus star.
Okay, so you can, like, kind of work your way towards it if you want to get the bonus star.
Also, when it's time to play a mini game, people will vote on a selection versus, like, randomly choosing one.
Right.
So there's some difference. Like, I didn't come away from it feeling like, oh my gosh, this is radically different. Because there will always be random acts. It's a dice-based game.
Exactly.
It's always going to be...
I'm okay with the randomness. I'm just not... I'm not super cool with like how Toad just decides to do what he wants at the end. Like
that really got it against Toad.
That part never made sense to me. It's like, why though?
He doesn't like you. Toad's calling his own number. So I came away from that. I was like, that's a nice addition. I'm glad that's there. But I did not feel like it was a radically different experience.
Sure.
I was really turned off of the board game mode initially when I first booted it up because there's like minimum play time, 90 minutes.
It's pretty long.
That is the shortest.
Right.
10 rounds, 90 minutes. And I thought, oh, surely you're joking. Because that's
it's a little bit shorter.
That's a major time commitment. And it just goes up from there. Yeah. Like there's like,
I think I did play that
multi-hour options.
Right. I did play that first board where it said 90 minutes. And I think we both said it was like actually like 60 minutes, right?
Yeah, every game that I've done, even the one that I did that was in pro mode that was 12 rounds, it's been about an hour. So
why do they overestimate the time like that? In case someone is slow?
Maybe they're just being conservative with it. But that, like, honestly, I had like shock. I was like,
who has that much time to dedicate to this like Mario Party?
I'm not doing this for 90 minutes.
Well, 90 minutes if I'm chatting on a phone with a girlfriend. Sure. That's no problem.
Yeah.
Gossiping for 90 minutes.
With a full glass of Pinot Grigio, right?
Oh, we did. Yeah. We were drinking wine. You're right.
I'm shocked.
It's actually Pinot Noir.
I'm shocked.
So we were gossiping, playing Mario Party, and drinking Pinot Noir, which is a great time if you have that those 90 minutes.
Better for me to not be there.
Fly right by. The modes that I do really like. I really like that Koopathon mode a lot.
Is it Koopathon or Koopathlon? Now I don't know. Koopathon? Huh. I always thought it was Koopathlon, but I think you're right. Koopathon.
Stop it. You're not invited ever again to any Mario parties. That mode...
I like that mode.
...is so Koopathlon. I'm reading this comment.
Well, it doesn't matter how it's written, it's how you say it.
Koopathon.
So that's
the 20-player mode.
That's not actually 20 players if you're online. Well, if you want to play with friends, you cannot do 20 friends.
No. This is but online with randos, 20 people.
20 randos.
20 random people. And it is minigame based. There is like this little thing that they do where like Bowser comes out and like there's like a challenge thing that you have to do with everybody. And if you survive it, then you don't have to move backspaces.
So basically it's 20 people running a race.
Yes.
And as you pick up coins in the mini games, like you
go faster.
Advance on the track.
Yeah.
And it's like it's literally a race. So it's like who can complete the most number of laps by getting the most number of coins.
Yeah.
Intermittently you'll do mini games, which is how you get the coins.
Yes.
It is you're using a set group of mini games.
You are.
That is not
They don't
super
change
varied,
it too much.
but they do kind of level up and get harder the more you do them.
The thing about this mode, even though the minigame selection is pretty limited, is that you are overwhelmed with a sense of competition. At least I am. I'm like, I need to be the best.
But you didn't.
I'm getting there.
Oh.
But it's kind of nice when the minigames don't change, because then I'm like trying to get better,
at it.
At each one. I'm like really like,
Which one do you like, or which one are you good at?
I'm really good at the one where you have to do, it's basically Tetris. You put them all in a row, and then it like blows up. There's like bombs and like star cubes, and you either make like horizontal or vertical rows.
Okay.
I'm very good at take the croissants out of the fire.
I don't like that one.
I'm so good at that.
It looks good though.
It looks delicious, especially the fire flower shaped one. That when they
sell those at Super Nintendo World.
It's all like brown
buttery
and crispy.
Don't burn it though.
That one I'm really good at. The one I'm really bad at is all the Bowser games. Like I'm really bad at those. Like the ones where if you lose, if you don't survive you have they make you go back spaces. There's one where there's like bombs flying by, and you have to or bullet bills flying by, and you have to like climb up this pole, and you can go up and down, but lava's rising.
Right.
I'm so bad at that one. I'm always taken out in like the first round.
Do you like the one where you're in that kind of like, it's not a crane game, but you're pushing the thing off?
I love that one.
I was like, she's gonna like this.
I'm like super addicted to it. Sometimes that little finger, I'm like, oh,
you want that plushy Yoshi?
Sometimes there's like multiple.
It looks really cool. There's like a stack of them. You just push it.
And when it all falls, it's so satisfying.
Well, you're pretty bad at that in real life, so
hey.
Hopefully you're better in Mario Party. I really like the one where you're on the incline and they're throwing the things at you.
I'm pretty good at that one.
I'm pretty good at that.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at
so
that.
So what place did you get? What's your highest placement?
My highest place is 8.
Oh.
You got 6.
No, I got 3rd. I don't know.
What?
I didn't get 6th. Are you joking? I got 3rd place.
That's so good. Are you good at the Bowser games? Is that why? Because you don't survive those and you get items.
I'm okay. Yeah, I was holding my own.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
what
now that it's
your
like
secret?
I don't know. Now it's a week later, people might be better. I don't know. Or I might be playing against a bunch of like 5-year-olds. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I will say that people have dirty names on that thing.
And people are doing dirty things with those player cards.
Those player cards are very dirty.
Get some moderation.
Someone is drinking Pinot Noir
I'm gonna swoon over here looking at a player card.
My innocent eyes and ears and face. Yes, I saw some very unfortunate names.
Oh dear.
I'm not going to repeat them here. It's a family-friendly podcast. But if you do have children playing this game, maybe just be aware that there are some weird things.
Earmuffs, eye muffs.
Happening.
Life muffs.
Close your eyes and ears forever. But I'm just telling you, I was like, oh my, this is unexpected. But that mode is really fun. You really tell the people the mode that you
What is it called? I forget the exact name. Bowser what? Fake Bowser? Imposter Bowser? What's it called?
You're in the city.
I forget what it's called. I really like this mode.
What is that mode called?
So it's for 8 players. You can play it online.
Yes.
Basically, there's Godzilla-sized Bowser.
Yes.
Who they are very specific to say, this is not actually Bowser.
Because your Bowser also was in the game.
This is Imposter Bowser.
Yes.
And it's so funny that he has it's the Kamek spell, but it's the PlayStation symbols coming off of him that just looks messed up.
Yes.
Imposter Bowser. Not real.
Yeah. But it's like kaiju style.
Yeah, he's huge.
Yeah, he's huge.
So there's kind of 2 parts to the game. It's the first is you're running around this kind of cityscape with these other players.
Don't you think that cityscape looks just like the Mario movie?
Let me explain it. And you're breaking these crates to get bombs, which you carry and put into a cannon. And once you get 20 bombs in the cannon, you can shoot Bowser.
Yes, and it takes down a pip of his health.
Right, and then there's rounds that are on a timer. So it's after 90 seconds, break from that, do a mini game.
Right.
All cooperative.
Cooperative.
This is entirely cooperative mode.
Yes.
And you get some sort of an item that you can use in the next round. It's some of them will help you move faster.
Or give you a hammer so you can break the crates faster.
Break the crates faster.
Or hold more bombs.
Yes.
Or hearts. If you get touched by Bowser, you basically go into a bubble and either you need to get a heart or somebody has to come and get you out of the bubble.
Right. And it's kind of a race against the clock of can we take out Bowser and shoot him with the cannon enough times. Mm-hmm. I just think it's really creative. I think it's really fun. There's a couple different variations on the cityscape that you can do. 8 players feels like it's big enough. for like
Totally, but not too big.
It's like, well, yeah, we'll split into teams. We'll take this crate, you take the other crate.
You can like whistle for them, like a Pikmin,
you can call them,
so they can come and
like.
Get
There's
the
a
crate.
lot that can happen.
It's fun.
I just think it's great.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
I really like that mode, and it feels long enough to feel like a significant.
Yeah.
Some of the mini games are called mini games for a reason. Like it's over in like 2 seconds.
Right.
But I do like how this one is very like substantial feeling, but it still has Mario Party elements in it. We were thinking that this mode would be perfect for our next meetup, which is going to be Mario Party.
It is. Yes.
So that's going to be really fun to play with the community.
We could do that, or we could do the Koopathon/Koopathlon. It's also 8 players. So, yeah.
Maybe I'll do better with people I know.
I mean, it's clear that they want to push the online element because it comes with the 3 months
NSO subscription.
NSO, which I got the physical copy, is like literally a third of the package. Is this annoying call
They
out?
send you so many emails when you get the digital game. They're like, we're sending you 15 emails about this online thing.
Yeah.
You're like, okay.
I got the bucket, though. I got the bucket from Target, so that was
have the bucket.
my reward for going into a Target.
Exciting. You put popcorn in it or something?
I didn't do anything with it. I feel like I should throw it away. I don't know. I'll bring it in here. Well, you can find something. Where does it hat?
You can put a plant in it or something.
Oh, there we
Maybe a
go.
little
That plant will not live.
Oh.
Yeah. That plant is not surviving.
All in all, though, I really like this game.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually one of my, like, top
It's a top-tier Mario Party.
Top-tier Mario Party. I think so. Like, I really like
Yeah.
it, generally. And I think it's good for the way that I play Mario Party. Like, the reviews were really all over the place. But for the way that...
There were a couple very negative ones.
For the way that I play it, I think it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I
Right?
think it's great. Did you try any of the motion-based modes?
I have tried the motion. I did the Rhythm Kitchen.
These all gave me like real Wii vibes, like we're back in 2008.
We're waggling. We're
waggling away.
We're waggling away.
And specifically the flying one, I was like, it
Yeah.
feels like I should be on a Wii Fit board. I feel like Wii Fit had a mode that was just like this.
You can just do that, like
where
leaning.
you were flapping and leaning.
Leaning. Yeah, you need to lean.
Yeah. I like the idea of that mode, but the flapping, you have to flap too much. I got tired. I wish you could just do a button instead. I'm lazy.
Can you just do the wrist?
And I don't like I want to play with a pro controller. I don't want to have to like constantly like now
switch back and forth or whatever.
Some of the mini games in all the modes are motion based.
You can turn the motion off.
I do that.
I do that too.
But I feel bad. It's like
you're missing out.
I'm missing out on
bunch.
something,
Yeah.
but I don't want to constantly be switching controllers.
That.
It's a lot to ask.
I'm too lazy to get up.
Just put the motion on the pro controller.
I'm gonna just lay down.
It's
it's
too much.
I already have a glass of wine in my hand.
I've had a lot of Pinot Grigio. Listen, I need to lie down.
I have a glass of wine and a Joy-Con. That's all I can manage. I'm not flapping around with this Pinot Noir in my hand. Okay, I'm just saying that right.
Before you get resurrected at like Frankie Valley to get the last to get the toad star.
Let me just snap in the most like
at the end of the Mario Party.
I won't be blinking. I will snap at the slowest rate possible.
How I returned to the Mario Party after 8 glasses of Pinot Grigio. That was you in 2021, I guess. Interesting.
No shame.
There is the rhythm games. It's fine.
Whatever.
And then there was there was like kind of a more puzzly one.
Yes.
And I thought it was interesting. I thought the physics on it were really annoying.
Yeah, that was weird.
I was like, there's a good idea here, but the way the ball bounces, it annoys me.
It's not great. Yeah. It's not intuitive.
No.
Yeah.
No. So those felt a little throwaway.
Throwaway. They're the most
me.
throwaway. That's the most throwaway island.
But it is good to see them trying new things with this series, which over the years has felt tired at times.
I can see them doing the Smash Ultimate DX or doing the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with this Mario Party, where they just like for the next system they just add modes or they'll. I could see them doing that.
I mean, they've people were like, "Oh, we're getting DLC for the last one," and they didn't do anything. So
I think they would do it for this one though.
Okay.
More croissant shapes.
We asked our Patreon subscribers who've been playing what they thought. We got some good responses. Let's start with M. Loom. It's so good, guys. In general, I would say the gameplay is very varied. The boards are of high quality, and the mini games are, in general, quite good. I love the longer Jamboree mini games. That's new and fun. Koopathon is so addicting, though, I would appreciate a couple more mini games for that mode. The motion controls are okay, except Rhythm Kitchen, which was a favorite, in Super as well. I would like for the game to be a little bit quicker, but it isn't as bad as I first feared. The turn time estimates are just wrong in my experience.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm very happy with the roster, the music, and jingles and such. Who are you playing as?
Yoshi.
I'm playing as Wario. And
his butt is out there.
And his giant butt. That's
Great.
who I'm playing
Perfect.
as. Ninja11 says, I have played and watched a lot of Mario Party. The Switch era of Mario Party is interesting because even though we abandoned the awful car gimmick from 9 and 10, we still weren't truly back. Super Mario Party had only 4 boards, and they all stunk due to how tiny they were. Also, the character-specific dice, OP ally mechanics, and the requirement to use a single Joy-Con made for a bad time. Mario Party Superstars was fun, but considering there wasn't any original boards or mini-games, and only 2 of the 5 boards they brought back were fun to play, it was a bit of a disappointment. Jamboree feels like we are actually back. Fun new boards, fun new mini-games, new gimmicks that are actually good, and have allies with an interesting risk-reward mechanics to them. This is what we have been waiting for, and I don't know why it took so long. That's a good way to sum it up.
8 years later.
That's a good way to sum it up.
Waluigi can be your ally. I did not buy him because I was like, you're yucky. I don't want you.
No, I don't want you. And we have Peter Chan. While Jamboree is the best original Mario Party in decades, the Jamboree Showdown mini-games and the increased board events make the party experience feel sluggish. The boards are bigger, so it can be difficult to get the full experience in 10 turns. Having your minimum play session go for 90 minutes is too long, especially when playing with non-gamer friends. I would love to see the next entry tune in the pacing to decrease the downtime between each turn whilst keeping more elaborate boards.
The downtime between the turn is a really interesting point and a good one.
Yeah.
That is really like where the, like that kind of like slowness, sluggishness plays in.
Sets in, yeah.
Because the boards are really imaginative. There's lots of cool things that can happen on the board. But that weird, the chit-chat from the Toad, that stuff between turns, or like when you're moving from like, these are the last 5 turns, or whatever, there's a lot of chit-chat there again. It's like, okay, shut up. Yeah. I get it, like kind of turn you off. That would be better for them to do, I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll have more to share about Mario Party in the future, but that's where we are with our first impressions. We got a bunch more games.
Yeah.
You have been playing the DLC for Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. And actually, there was some breaking news for this game just before we started recording, which is that the dev team has been disbanded. They pitched a sequel, which was rejected. That's that.
I guess we're
for
done.
Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
I guess we're done with
What
Prince
a bummer.
of Persia after this DLC. I know, right? I guess it didn't do that well for them.
I mean, Ubisoft has some fundamental problems now.
It's beyond like a single game.
That seem simple, but are probably quite challenging.
Kind of a problem of their own making.
In reality, like
finish
a game before you release it. Don't have everybody expect that your game's going to be $20 in a month.
Don't discount. Exactly, that's the main thing. Fundamental business practices that you've basically trained your audience on.
Right.
You need to retrain
Especially
them.
when the game is not complete. It's like, well, it's a double win because when I buy it a month later, it will be complete and it'll be $20.
Be cheap.
Perfect. I'm going to do that.
Yeah. Oh, man.
This DLC. This is a great game. Let's celebrate this DLC.
I was going to say, let's
not
at least be happy that this game exists and we were able to play a new Prince of Persia game in the year 2024. Yes. Great, a great series that we both really like. We love the original game. The DLC is very good, very well done. It has like that thing where, it's very like Metroidvania in a way where you like lose all your powers when you go, because you're real OP at the end of Prince of Persia.
So you lose all that.
Yeah.
Everything?
Almost. You only have 4 things left. And those 4 things kind of suck because it makes this DLC really hard.
Even those like mobility powers that you get?
You have your dash and the ability to make your little shadow.
Oh, the shadow. I remember that. Yes. Okay.
But you lose like your like spinny jump, like basically the screw attack, which I really liked.
Yeah.
At the end, you lose a lot of that stuff.
That's an interesting thing.
And then you also lose a lot of your combat stuff too. Like you cannot do some of that combat. You only have like 2 things.
Do you keep the map?
I
did not like that part of that game where they took the map away.
You keep the map. Okay. Oh, you got lost in the sewers.
I didn't
I remember that.
Yeah.
They do add some stuff that you will like, which is, you know how you were saying there's not enough fast travel points in that game? So, and you were like, why can't those trees just be the trees are now fast travel points. Good news. Good news, everyone. But yeah, very similar. You sort of go into this whole different, you kind of start a side quest and you go into this whole different area of the game, brand new map.
So it's like a standalone map.
Yes, standalone
Okay.
map that you're unlocking. Yeah. Again, you lose all your powers, so you have to like go and slowly get them back.
Yeah.
It is brutally hard. Like
that game got hard near the end.
Especially because you have no power. So it's like as hard as
you've forgotten how to play it.
That too. It's as hard as it was at the end of the main game.
That game was hard.
But you now don't have any of your powers. So now you're just really like, ooh, struggle. You can turn on that assist thing where it's like platforming assist. But I kind of don't like it.
Well, so what part of it is hard? Is it the fighting, the bosses, the platforming, everything?
The platforming is really tough. And they introduce a lot of different platforming gimmicks, I guess.
I had a harder time with the bosses specifically. I had a harder time with.
Still okay with the combat because you still have, you're fast.
It was a lot of like perfect timing, parry
maneuvers
still have to do that I'm just not great at.
They're introducing this one type of platforming mechanic that's just difficult for me across the board. Whenever they put this thing in a platforming game, I'm like, dang it. It's that thing where it's like a puff of air. So you have to like, when you jump, you have to do your attack, and it blows you in the air, and then you have to time it for the next puff of air, and then the next puff of air.
You're not creating the puffs of air.
No, it's like this little machine, but you have to activate turning it on and off.
Oh, I see. It sounds fun.
It's very fun, but it's also really hard. And if you mess up the timing for even one of those, you're sort of like...
Start over.
Yeah. They do give you that platforming assist, but it's not great because instead of like, like sometimes they give you platforming assist and they just add platforms so you can still kind of do it along the way. They just port you past the challenging section.
I laughed when you told me that the first time.
I don't really love that. It's like, we actually don't believe in you at all.
Don't play it.
You can't even play this game.
You just go straight to the ending. You beat it.
Skip to the end.
Yeah,
good job.
Thanks for the money.
It's like, why would you do it? So what I did was like, I would like skip to the end or skip to past that section just to see how the section is laid out and then go back and try to do it because my problem is that I couldn't react like fast enough,
I see.
But anyhow, it's really good. This game is just generally good, and it is like, it does a lot of the stuff that we liked in the first game here. But yeah, I'm sad that the team is disbanded now, though, and then there's no sequel. But I guess you can enjoy this game and the DLC while you have it.
Wow, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I have been playing a couple Halloween-ish games to get into the spirit.
Yes.
One that I have been playing that just came out is called Fear the Spotlight. Mm-hmm. This is the first, remember at Summer Game Fest they talked about how Blumhouse was getting into games. This is kind of the first big one that they were talking about. This is very much like a PS1 retro revival styled survival horror game that we did get to play at Summer Game Fest.
I played it for like 10 minutes, got scared and left.
I played a little bit of it there. Yeah. What I played was basically the beginning of the game, and I probably played like a couple hours beyond that here. But I have also reached a point where I'm now quite frightened. So we'll see how far I can go.
Play it in daylight.
I don't get the sense this is a super long game, but yeah, I was frightened.
You're two high school girls in the abandoned school.
Yes.
I remember we played a part in the library of the school, and
you
it
do
was
a Ouija
really,
board.
It was scary.
Yeah,
I didn't like. That's when I left.
There's some interesting kind of like slow burn storytelling that they're doing. So it's like, you're these two girls in high school. You're like doing shady stuff after hours,
sneaking around.
You do like find out like, oh, the school burned down some time ago.
Yes, that's right.
There's like a plaque of like, here's all the students who died in the fire. Yikes. So it's like, is this place haunted or what? And then so you do the Ouija board in the middle of the night, which is always a bad idea.
Don't do it.
The lights go out, your friend is gone, and there's like a fire that's started. Like you run away.
Your friend is gone?
Your friend is gone. So you're like trying to find her. And you do eventually like make contact with her, but she's acting a little like you call her on the phone, you don't see her, but there's something is off about her. Something happened.
When did you get scared? Then?
There's no combat in this game, and I did have a run-in with like an enemy that was like all you can do is run, which I don't love. I like having some agency to like.
That's why RE4 is okay.
At least
because Leon is very capable.
Slow them down, but this is just like you just have to.
You're just a girl.
Run or hide. You can hide.
That's when you got scared.
There's also some other moments. They're good about this where like. If you're turning your camera, like you'll see something out of the corner of your eye. They'll put something, and you'll be like, wait a minute, and you'll go back, and it's gone.
No.
Like there was a scene where I was in a bathroom.
No.
And like in all the stall doors were closed, and like I saw something like feet underneath one of them, and again I was like, well, wait a minute, and then it was gone. Or like you'll see something like you're coming up to like a door, like a little thing will like pop its head out, like hey. And then it'll like disappear, and you'll like look around the corner. There's nothing there. So there is some like these people know what they're doing with the scary stuff.
I don't like it.
I was curious, like why is this game called this? Fear the Spotlight. And I think I'm starting to figure out like there is a lot of talk about like this school play. Like I haven't yet reached a story point where they fully explain it, but it seems like this school play has sort of a pivotal story role. So it's like something about being in a spotlight. I won't spoil it. That enemy that I encountered also had something about a spotlight to do with them. So there is the name does make sense now more to me than it did. Fear the Spotlight.
Oh no!
But it's very good at just kind of like in the environment showing you what happened. This like terrible fire, all these people that died, like the state of this school. You go into like the gym, which is like completely empty. And they were having like an anti-bullying fair, and like it was like the message from the principal is like, we must have this. We're obligated to have this to prevent what happened, to make sure it never happens again. It's like, well, what happened? Something bad happened if you're having an anti-bullying fair at your school. So there's just a lot of like hints being dropped of what's going on, and it's all in this kind of like PS1, very similar to Crow Country County. I always forget if it's country or county. Looks a lot like that, but in that game, you had combat, like you had a gun. You can get guns. This you have nothing, so far at least. And I imagine I'm at least like halfway through it. I don't think you do. It just doesn't seem like that kind of a game.
I'm so scared right now.
But the vibe is really good. The storytelling is great. There's voice acting that's really well done. So I think it's great.
Great. If you guys are into spooky Halloween games. And they offered both of us codes, and I was like, I'm too scared. Don't give it to me.
I said, Krysta's scared. Well, now I'm scared because I played it. I got scared.
Oh, no, I knew it was going to be too scary.
Sorry.
They tried to tell us it wasn't going to be scary.
They lied.
They lied. They said it was just a vibe.
Like, well, it's more creepy than scary. It's like, no, it's scary. It's creepy and scary.
Oh, no.
Let me tell you that.
Blumhouse. Of course it's scary.
Another game that I was playing, this is a game that came out a couple years ago that I had my eye on. I was like, someday I'm going to get this game. And it was on deep discount on Steam.
Oh, good.
And I don't know if it still is, but maybe it still is, in which case you can get it. It was like $3. Pumpkin Jack, which is a action platformer. It's on it. I bought it on Steam, but I think it's on pretty much everything, including the Switch. Fear the Spotlight, I was playing on the Switch too, I should say.
Okay.
And that's also on everything.
Right.
Kind of like a PS2 era styled action platformer where you play as this like Ichabod Crane, pumpkin-headed, like otherworldly being. Like I'm kind of like whatever about the story.
Jack Skellington?
Kind of. Is that what Jack Skellington is?
He has a pumpkin head.
Okay, so you're a guy with a pumpkin head. It seems to be like kind of equal balance of platforming and some combat. You do get these different like melee things that you have. Like you have a crow friend also that you can almost like shoot like a gun at something. So if there's like something off in the distance, you can just shoot it off at them.
Okay.
The platforming is pretty interesting. The jumping is a little. There's something about it that's slightly off. It's like I don't know if I would say that it's too floaty, but I think the jumping in combination with the camera is not entirely perfect, but it's absolutely like not a situation where it's unplayable or something like that. It's like you just kind of have to take that into account when you're doing some of these jumps. But this has kind of the more like fun Halloween vibes.
Oh, good. I like that.
This is not actually scary.
Right.
It's like the music is really good.
Is it like Halloweeny music?
Absolutely.
Oh, good.
Like the vibes. It's like, oh, there's like a spooky like hillside and the sun's setting and there's like, you know, skulls and crows and stuff like that.
Bats and stuff.
Like classic Halloween.
I like that
stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know why you would play this game outside of the month of October.
Seasonal.
But I was playing it recently, and I was like, yeah, this is a really good Halloween. Because we're fans of games that get you in the mood for a holiday.
Halloween, but only like the non-scary parts of it. Like I like Hocus Pocus, and I like carving a pumpkin.
Right.
But I'm too scared to play like Silent Hill.
Oh yeah.
So like this is a good option for a person that is not
really
scared,
good.
not going to be scared. You know?
Costume Quest is another. There's two of those.
Costume Quest.
Another really good, not scary but Halloween themed.
You can play the Halloween level in Mario Wonder.
Over and over. Just
do
play
that
it
for the entire.
and
while
again.
you wait for the Switch 2 announcement every day, you can play that level. Fun.
Infinity Nikki.
You are dressing up
in Infinity Nikki.
Infinity Nikki
for Halloween.
Halloween like dress up costumes, not Halloween.
I
costumes.
see. Okay.
I'm just saying this. If we're on a Halloween
I was wondering
theme,
where you were going with this. Yes.
I'm trying to have a nice transition here. You ruined it. I am still playing Infinity Nikki. I did find out a sad truth though.
Oh no.
Your progress does not carry over. They did say that they might give you like a little badge or a little cute little item.
They're not.
If you did play the early access, but unfortunately.
Oh, so what are you going to do?
My beautiful clothes.
What are you going to do?
I think I really like this game.
Can you finish this game? Is this game you can finish, or is this like you just play it
No, I think it's endless. I mean, maybe the main quest you can finish.
So could you finish it before it comes out?
No, I don't think so.
Because you're in the early access?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to let you finish it.
Oh, man.
I know, right?
Isn't
rough. That a little bit sad?
That's kind of sad, yeah.
I do really like this game a lot, so I'm actually okay to restart it. When
maybe you can play it like a different way.
Yeah, good point. I can play it a different way, maybe. So it started out with like this is a fun dress-up game, right? Like I was talking about it. You get the clothes. It augments your moveset. It's very cute. You're doing cute things like brushing a puppy and getting the fur to make another dress. And it's
from a dog?
Like you need to collect materials to make stuff, and if you like brush like
You're making a puppy pelt dress?
Well, not a pelt.
I see.
You're brushing its fur, and then it's like a little like corgi poof ball that you can like weave into a dress. I don't know. That's the thing. It made sense to me at the time, but now that I'm saying it out loud, it sounds kind of weird.
A little strange, but sure.
So then that's what I thought. All there is to it was the collecting of the stuff and making of the clothes. But then the story got like really real. Like scary stuff is happening in the game. Like you go into these like sewers and you realize that like there's this thing like contaminating this town. People are falling into comas and then having like hallucinations.
Oh no.
Like one of your friends that you meet, like her mother was one of the victims and like collapses in the house. And then you will hook up with like the people that are like running the town, like the mayor and like the head investigator to basically like investigate this case. Like they did not have to put this like insane true crime story into this game, but that is where we're headed apparently. So now I'm somehow involved in this. There's like a big revelation when you are in like you finally catch one of the people that is like maybe responsible for the comas, and you like go in to question him, like interrogate him in the like the scary investigation room, and you learn like some crazy stuff, and now you're like completely involved in this thing, and you have to figure out what's going on. So that is where the main story is headed, apparently. So kind of interesting, but a little bit sad that I will have to probably start over. I don't even know when this game comes out. They haven't even said. They just said 2024.
Well,
so
we're
it could
there.
be within the next couple months.
This is
hopefully.
OND, people.
Yeah, we're deep in OND now.
Do or die time.
Yeah, like quite literally.
Yeah.
So I hope that it comes out soon, because I might just slow down a little bit so I can like just
savor it,
start over in the main game. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
That's good.
Last game to talk about is Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2, which I have now finished.
Yay,
One part.
beat it.
One part of.
One part of.
I finished the main story, which ended up being very enjoyable. I think it was about 10 to 12 hours, so it did not overstay its welcome. Really did a good job of kind of ratcheting up just the feel of this mission that you were on at the beginning. You were starting, like I was saying last week, this kind of Zerg-like bug enemy.
Right.
And later on, you're fighting Chaos, who is like the other kind of like one of the big antagonists in the 40k universe. And you're kind of trying to understand like what they're doing, and you're on these different locations, and it has a very like epic finale where it's like you and all the other Space Marine dudes doing violence. Yeah.
Oh, violence.
Yeah, and dude stuff. AKA dude stuff.
Marines! Yeah!
But, it definitely felt like a little bit of like a spiritual successor to a Gears of War game with much more of like a melee focus. And this is kind of like equal parts melee and shooting, whereas Gears is like mostly shooting with some fun melee stuff thrown in for good measure. So there are two other big parts of this game, which they kind of hide away, honestly. Like, I had to look up, like, how do I access this? Because I knew the game had it, but I just couldn't find it. It's just like a big hub that you're in, which is like they call it the battle barge, which reminds me of the battle bus from Fortnite. This came first.
Jump off the battle barge.
The battle barge came first.
Don't jump off the battle barge. You're probably
but it's like a big kind of warship where you're kind of gathering and hanging out to go on to your next mission. And there's like a small little terminal in one place. And it's like you go to the terminal and you can choose these other modes. So there's these other co-op only missions that you can do, which are kind of like variations of some of the story missions. And they're like, this is like happening simultaneously to the main story. Like these other teams are on these other missions, which is a good way to set it up. And for that, you like create a Space Marine, and you can choose like there's all these character classes, which they don't have in the main game. It's just like pick stuff up and outfit them however you want.
Right.
And you can like level up like your gear to get stronger along the way. So
it's like a Diablo-esque kind of way.
It's a cool thing. Like I started that, and very sadly my game crashed as I got to like the end of this big mission that I was having a really good time with. So that was kind of a bummer. They did just put out a big patch for this game.
Oh no!
That I don't know. Maybe that broke. People seem upset about the balancing.
What system are you playing on?
PS5.
PS5. Okay.
Yes. People seemed mad. Who had been playing this game seemed kind of mad about the balancing. So probably some new hot fix coming in fast on that. But being able to pick a class is neat. It's like you can.
What kind of classes are there?
It goes all the way from like like you have a shield and like a really heavy weapon, or like a sniper, or like some sort of like a hybrid. I think there's like 6 or 7
that's pretty significant.
Classes that you can choose from.
That's significant.
And you can customize different armor sets. So like, there's like a good progression to that. And it did feel, because it's really multiplayer focused, it did feel harder than the main story missions.
Got it.
Like there were some parts where it's like, I don't know how we're gonna get past this, but we did, and we're helping each other out, and I was just playing with random people. And then there's also
how many players is it?
3.
3. Oh, 3.
Co-op. 3.
3 co-op. Okay.
Yes. And then there is the big kind of head-to-head multiplayer mode, which I have not spent.
Like a PvP kind of thing?
Yes, I have not spent too much time. I used to really like the Gears of War PvP.
Yeah.
But I'm a little out of practice, and I'm honestly a little intimidated by it.
It's pretty scary, yeah.
So I've ducked in there a couple times to check it out, and I've gotten absolutely mopped up.
Yeah.
So maybe that's not in the cards for me.
But
yeah, I liked it a lot. This I was like, initially, before I kind of understood like the breadth of the content, I was like, how is this worth $70 as a $70 game? Oof. But I think if you want to get into it as a game that you're going to play over time and really get into those multiplayer modes, I can see it.
Yeah. You started reading the books, too.
I did start reading a Warhammer book.
I started reading that book, too.
The same book?
Brothers of the Snake?
Brothers of the Snake, yes.
Yes, I did start reading that one.
Yeah, that's a book. There's a lot of, helpful videos on YouTube because there's like hundreds of books on this topic.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
They'll help you, like, if for beginners, like this is a good one, or if you're into a certain topic. And I was like, let's just stick with the Space Marines.
There's a lot of like backstory. Like there's like a whole government system that's in place, and like a whole
and they have, like,
universe, obviously.
Crime and detective stories, and like all these other stories.
This one is like more like political war kind of thing.
Well, this is just more straightforward, like soldiers doing soldier stuff.
They find aliens, obviously.
Fighting aliens.
Fight the aliens,
right.
yeah.
So I thought this will be a good way to dip my toe in this.
I've been listening to the book on audio and on Audible.
You said you've been reading.
Listening while I paint those space marines. I did get a magnifying glass too for the painting, where like it's on like this arm that clips onto it.
I need a photo of this.
So I will send a photo to you. I've been listening to it while I paint Space Marines. You have now put together all the Space Marines.
I put them together. We have teamwork too. Like Space Marines, we have teamwork.
You have to put together the Zerg stuff for me.
I'll do that later.
Okay.
I'll do that later.
We're kind of like in. We're getting there.
We're in just like we were in on Dungeons and Dragons.
We were never in on Dungeons and Dragons.
One of us wasn't.
You were in. I was on vacation.
You were not. Good. Wow, those are the games we're playing. That's a lot of games.
You're saying that Coblops
is
coming very soon. Are you playing Coblops?
It's coming this week. I'm going to check that out.
Okay.
Yes. I'm going to do the single player
stay tuned
of that.
for Coblops
and I will
update.
Like I did with this, I will duck into the multiplayer and see how that goes.
You can see yourself get completely worked,
It's been a long time since I played Call of Duty.
For the ragdoll death physics, you can
finally see so many ways to die. Yes,
you have so many ways.
I'm excited. All right, let's move on to questions from our community, which we always source from our Patreon subscribers. Check us out on patreon.com/Kit and Krysta. We mentioned that Notification Squad tier would get you all of the spoiler casts. It also gets you all of the bonus Q&As that we do.
Juicy bonus Q&As.
Weekly. They're about 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. There are over 100 of them in the archive. You get access to them all at that tier, so check it out. Wow. First question's from Banana Bread Slice. Maybe a food offering at Super Donkey Kong Land. Or whatever they're calling it, Donkey Kong Country. Mario Odyssey is one of the best games I have ever played, and I loved it, except for one thing.
Oh,
that was a good start to that. I thought the storyline of Bowser forcing Peach to marry him was super weird, and if you think about it, a bit dark. At least in previous Mario games, I assume she was being kidnapped for ransom.
Also kind of dark.
My first question is, did this storyline raise any eyebrows within Nintendo? And was there any pushback at the time you're aware of? Secondly, now that Zelda is the lead of a mainline game, could this signal a more progressive shift in Nintendo's mindset? After all, Aonuma previously dismissed the idea of Zelda as the main protagonist because, in his words, then what is Link gonna do? Notably, Mario doesn't save Peach in either the Mario Brothers movie or in Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Could we finally be done with this antiquated damsel in distress storyline, or do you think they will return to it?
This was a really big topic when we were working on this game at Nintendo, and I remember having so many meetings with the dev team and the localization team about this topic of, Bowser forcing Peach to marry him and how that was a little strange and definitely antiquated in way of thinking. And like a big sort of blotch on this otherwise like amazing, perfect, beautiful, wonderful game. And I do have like a very clear recollection of like bringing this up for the first time and like actual just like shock from the developers that like.
I remember we had a meeting at E3 because we were doing like some pre-show event.
Yeah.
That they were going to be, Mr. Motokura and Mr. Koizumi were going to be at. And it was like, we need to talk about this because we were doing a Q&A.
Yeah.
You might get asked about this. Like, we're not super satisfied with the state of the response. Like, can you just tell us more?
Yeah.
Because we think this, like, some people might not like this. And they're like, what do you mean? This is awesome.
That's exactly what we were, they were
this is great.
They were really shocked that we thought that this was going to be, that we were coming to them saying that, hey, people are not going to really like this part of the game. Like, this might be raising some questions. You might be asked questions, so we need to figure out a way for you to respond to this in a way that is satisfactory. And they were shocked. They were like, why would they care about this? This is funny.
They kind of came around on it.
They did,
once E3 started and they started seeing those questions coming in from people.
They did, yes.
And they're like, yeah, maybe you're right. And I think at that point, they weren't going to change the game.
Yeah, the ship
but
kind of sailed.
They did kind of share some different perspectives on it that we used. But
they at the very end of the game, spoiler alert if you haven't finished this game, Princess Peach ends up like, getting herself out of the jam, right?
Yes.
And then she travels the world. Like she gets like the cute little, she's like, I'm going to go, like my little suitcase, I'm going to go travel the world. That was what they were saying. They're like, but it ends up being fine. She ends up being, she saves herself. It's not a big deal. I'm like, but you have to get to the end of the game to like know that happens. All the trailers that they were showing and all the things you see, like wedding Bowser,
Well, in classic Nintendo fashion, this was a huge secret, even to us.
Even to us, yes.
So
exactly.
we didn't know what was in the later part of the game.
We were trying really hard to like talk to them about this,
Yeah.
and they did come around once it actually started happening to them, but they like honestly were shocked that people were bringing it up in the first place, and yeah, it was really unfortunate because I had the same exact feeling. I'm like, oh, this game is near perfect, and we have this kind of like unfortunate thing that's not even like gameplay related, but just like a stupid story wrapper that was not really needed.
And now we have the wedding amiibo to remember it by.
I hate the wedding amiibo so much.
And we saw the wedding plushes in Japan.
I did not like those.
That you looked ready to buy.
I did not.
Give me that.
No. You wanted me to buy them, and I wanted to throw them in the trash.
They're a little too big to bring back.
Awful.
Why are they so big?
Why are they so awful?
It's like this big.
No, we don't want these.
Next question is from Cerulean Dragon. Metaphor just launched and has celebrated 1 million copies sold on opening day. Wow.
Oh.
Many believe this game will go toe-to-toe with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth this year for Best RPG and potentially GOTY itself. How do you think Square Enix feels about this, especially game after game continues to disappoint their executive team, sales-wise? Metaphor prides itself on its turn-based battle system, something Square Enix seems to be moving further away from than ever before in one of their core franchises after Final Fantasy XVI and Rebirth. Do you think this may cause Square Enix to revisit their strategy with Final Fantasy and bring back its turn-based routes? Or do you think they'll continue to go all in on real-time battles? Why do you think Square Enix is so adamant about avoiding turn-based elements in Final Fantasy when it's clear the market for this type of game is still extremely strong?
Yeah, Metaphor definitely has captured the hearts and minds of people, and I agree. I think the battle, just from the demo that we've been playing, the battling is really solid, and a good mix of real time and turn based. Honestly, battles in Metaphor. The turn based is really good though. I do think that Square kind of has this like mentality that they are the JRPG kings or whatever, and they sort of wrote the book on how this is done. So they might feel some type of way about another game kind of encroaching on that. But I'm not sure that they're gonna take it super seriously. I think they might just, kind of live with that and move on. What can they do, really, right?
Well, there was a quote I saw from Yoshi P, who's one of the leads on Final Fantasy 16. He was saying he's like I felt like the expectations of what I would be expected to deliver on this game, and to me it felt like we had to change the way the game played to reach a bigger audience to meet the goal. And I mean, I think that game's fine.
You mean Rebirth?
No, I'm talking about 16.
Oh, 16.
16. They went all in on the action there, whereas I think 7 is a bit more of a hybrid where you can still go into menus and do stuff, and I really like the battle system in 7
Me too.
a lot. I think that's a cool evolution. 16 just felt like a straight action game in a way that I didn't like it. It was well done, but I was like, I don't know how I feel about this in a Final Fantasy game.
Right.
So, I mean, they just felt the weight of that, and there's like they didn't have the confidence in their core competency, their core product, what people expect from a Final Fantasy, to be able to meet that, which is kind of a weird reaction to have.
Well, there is that struggle between, needing to reach this bigger audience that I think they do struggle with their executive team on. Square does struggle with their executive team on, like that expectation of you need this to be a blockbuster hit. This needs to reach beyond the quote core fans. I don't even know if selling 1 million copies is enough, for them to meet those expectations and goals. So what can you do, really, is my answer. Is what can you do about that?
Guess we should just pack it up. Call it a day.
It's not my game.
No more video games. We can't figure this out. We're gonna stop making them.
Stop making them.
Dragon Quest. I'll be shocked if Dragon Quest ever changes to action oriented. That seems like that'll always be, some turn-based stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
I agree. Like I'm sure the budget for a metaphor is just inherently smaller than a Final Fantasy.
Exactly. The
But
expectations
does Final Fantasy need to be this? I mean, we both pointed out like 7 Rebirth had some bloat to it. Could have saved some money there.
Yeah.
I think that's, if they're going to make some changes, that's what I would suggest. It's like,
it's this idea of making it break out from its core audience that there is a struggle with, though. Like the way that, the methods of which they do that mean different things to different people. So like in the case of Final Fantasy Rebirth, it's like, well, to make it appeal to more people, we got to make it open world. We got to have these 10 million mini games. We got Queen's Blood. We got to do all these things to appeal to the broadest audience possible. But for people like us who are not their expansion audience, we just want to play this core game. So that's the struggle that they have to deal with and they have to find balance in. So, I mean, it's hard, but...
Final Fantasy 17. You are playing American football. The main character is Travis Kelce. It's basically Madden. Congratulations.
And you can romance Taylor Swift.
There we go. We solved it. Mainstream as it gets.
There you go.
There it is.
Perfect.
Done.
Do that.
Echo Ladare is next. Something that's always confused me about some gaming communities online is the loud minority of people that gatekeep new fans from enjoying games however they please by getting upset at the type of build they choose to use throughout a game or just the way they play it at all. And as a new fan to the FromSoft collection of Souls games, I've started to notice it more and more, not only for those games, but in many other communities in different ways as well. Could you offer any insight as to why diehard fans turn potential new fans away with the things they say just because they don't play the game the, quote, right way?
My insight is that they're jerks. Just kidding.
They're afraid.
Exactly.
This is what it is. They are afraid. Like, they have found a thing that they like with a niche of people that they kind of share the same point of view on.
Yeah.
And if the thing gets bigger and if new people come in, that might change. And that would ruin this fun thing that they have. So they're afraid.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. They're insecure and afraid. And that is such a sad mindset to have. Like,
and what do you do when you're afraid? You lash out.
Yeah.
So you are making me afraid. I'm going to lash out at you. What do I do when I see a spider on the ceiling? I squish it. That's what I do.
You don't even go near it, you chicken.
I've been squishing a lot of spiders lately.
What about the vacuum?
That's good too.
I use the vacuum cleaner extension to
Sometimes you need to know it's dead.
Well, it's in the vacuum cleaner.
Might crawl out.
Anyways, we're really getting off track. But yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that is a terrible reaction to have because there's no way that, new players that play games in a way that is not in, whatever, like the way that the hardcore gamers play it will even result in any sort of change. Or it's not like the thing that you're doing to play a Souls game a different way is going to result directly in them changing the game completely.
And these are single-player games, too.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, I'm being impacted because you're playing it this way. So this is a completely walled-off experience that this person is having.
The other thing that I see, especially with these FromSoft like Souls games and the people that lash out at new players or people that play, not even new players, but players that play it a different way, even though those features are in the game, and so it's totally legitimate for you to play that way, is that they feel the sense of like you are taking some sort of accomplishment away from them.
Right.
It's like, I played this game and I'm the only one, or me and 10 other people beat this boss.
I earned it.
I earned this victory, and then you cheesed it by poisoning this boss for 3 hours while you made dinner, and you also beat it. I did that. Or you used your echoes or whatever it's called, like your little summons or whatever, and so, but you can't claim that victory too because you didn't earn it the way I did.
Yeah.
But that is a show of insecurity. There is other stuff going on in these people's lives that are causing this kind of insecurity, and when the only thing that you have to make yourself feel better is an accomplishment in a game, you maybe want to look a little deeper inside why you're feeling bad.
This is a great big ignore. play the
but
game
you
however
should
like.
absolutely ignore it. I cheesed the heck out of these Souls games, and I thought it was very fun.
Yes.
So, yes.
We got Motomania. Can we have some fun and make a wish list of third-party ports for games that may have a second chance during the Switch 2 launch window? I have such a huge backlog of Switch games that I neglected my PS5, and I'm hoping for Switch 2 ports to make it easier for me. Portability as an adult just rocks. Anyway, my 5 hopeful third-party launch window games are Persona 3 Reload, Street Fighter 6, Hi-Fi Rush, Baldur's Gate 3, Resident Evil 4 or 2, the remakes. What are yours? Even if you played them but hope they find a new audience, I'd love to hear your opinion.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's on my
Oh,
list.
yeah.
Any sort of big RPG.
Elden Ring. That's my other one.
Elden Ring, yeah, it's a great one.
And I think we get all of those.
I hope so.
I think this is going to be a huge category
Yeah.
of games in the first kind of
God of
couple
War.
years.
Just kidding.
Before the technology outstrips what the Switch 2 can do.
Totally.
Like we did on Switch. Like everybody's going to try and put their games on Switch. It's going to be the same thing. Post a picture. Wow, look at Baldur's Gate running on the Switch 2. Sure looks cool. Just like we did with the Switch 1.
Yeah,
People are going to get a kick out of
Skyrim.
that.
Oh my goodness.
And it's going to be awesome. But
Yeah.
I think the wrinkle here is like, what could Microsoft bring that could be surprising? Mm-hmm. Could I be playing, Halo or like big Xbox
Online games,
Xbox games? We already know they already said Call of Duty is coming. We know that. I'm going to be COD blopping on my Switch too.
Can't wait.
Wow. I'm going to be blopping a COD.
On a Switch too.
Yes. And who knows what PlayStation's going to be doing in a couple years?
I know, right?
Who knows?
They're a big black hole.
Am I going to be playing God of War on a Switch too? That feels crazy far-fetched.
Spider-Man?
But the time between the PC ports is getting less. They
Yeah.
seem to be like we're getting this Horizon game, this Lego Horizon game on the
Yes.
Switch. I don't know. I don't think you can rule out anything.
You can't rule out anything.
can't rule out
anything.
anything.
Can happen. Anything is possible.
And they could always say like, well, we're
Yeah.
in a blood feud with Xbox. Nintendo's over here doing its other thing. We can put it there. It's no problem.
Yeah.
It's no competition to us.
Yes, that's so true.
Whether that's true or not, you can argue.
Also, like any of these upcoming games, Assassin's Creed would be cool.
I think all of these will happen.
Yeah, I think these will
all
actually
of these
happen.
will happen.
Yeah,
And that's exciting.
it's very
exciting.
GTA? GTA?
I don't know about that one.
We'll see about that one.
Riven asks, what was QA like at Nintendo? Did you interact much with any QA employees? Do you know anything about QA processes?
I mean, we interacted with them in like a communications way, where like if they knew something was something that we needed to look out for, we would.
I just heard an alarm chime. Did you hear it?
No,
It's 1 o'clock.
it's 1 o'clock.
I just heard it.
We have it on the Breath of the Wild one, and then we just realized yesterday that it's the sound of Link's hearts
Yes,
refilling.
yes.
But every time of day, it's like the bloop is the counting the
You'll
time.
get a different number based on how many hours
did
in
you
the
hear
day
one
we are.
bloop?
I did. I heard it.
Nice. What was I saying?
QA.
QA.
Well, so we talked about with Jason and with other people, these product carriers
Yes.
who would have to take pre-release software to an event or to media or whatever, fly literally across country. They were people from QA
Yes.
who also had this kind of side job. So those were the people that we got to know the best.
Yeah.
And that would be on a press tour with us for several days at a time, and they were great.
Sometimes it's like if they have a known issue too, we'll hear about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Watch out for we're working through this thing.
Right,
You know.
right.
Might need like a Q&A for it or something.
Yeah.
Or if a media person asks, we'll work with them on like a statement.
Right. I would say in general, like the QA was among the more fearful teams, which I think made sense when you realized, and there have been all these reports now. Of, like,
they're
many
all
of them are
contractors,
contractors, and I think a lot of them were given like very sometimes treated harshly. I felt.
Yeah, they did. They were treated harshly.
And yeah, they were always a little bit concerned of it's like I need to follow these rules to a T, or I'm going to have some sort of a consequence happen.
I mean, these people would literally get like the daylight scared out of them when they were doing all that prototype hardware and software carrying. We literally call them carriers, where they would come to the events and help us set up like prototype hardware with pre-released games. And in many cases, they would like handcuff it to themselves.
Right.
And they would like...
Because it was lose a game, lose your job. That was
lose a game,
that
lose
was
your
the
job.
deal.
That was the deal. Yeah, and it was pretty crazy, like the rules that they had about how you had to keep it on your person all the time. You couldn't even sometimes trust the hotel safe. Like, it was very strict. And I always felt a little bit bad that they had to like basically lay down their life for this disc, you know? And it's a lot of pressure to do that. And like you would try to invite them out to like dinner or something. They're like, no, we have to go back and guard the game. I'm like, okay. I'll bring you a slice of pizza.
Last question is from the Keggers. It's a double question. Let's go through both. Maybe we'll answer one. Maybe we'll answer two. Let's see.
All right.
1. Do you think Miyamoto will return to gaming one last time for his, quote, swan song before retirement? I'm picturing him serving as director one last time on a Mario game as the perfect end cap to his amazing career. Or is he too far gone to movies and theme parks? Kind of like my Sakurai Kirby wish. Uh-huh. Would you like to answer that?
Sure.
All right. Go
I
ahead.
kind of feel like he's moved on from making games. I think he has already closed that chapter.
I think so. Yeah.
He has he's passed the torch of that already. So he might be in his current swan song era now, and the swan song is the theme parks and movies.
Yeah.
And he's just, this is like his like fun time projects that he wants to do before he decides to retire, or in his words, fall down, fall over, whatever. Fall over? Is it fall over?
Fall over.
Fall over.
Yes.
Don't fall down and don't fall over. But yeah, so I think he has like truly moved on, and now he's just like in the swan song era of doing the stuff that he wants to do and making the theme parks and movies and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Part 2.
Part 2.
F-Zero continues to show signs of life, with more retro games coming to NSO and F-Zero 99 receiving fairly regular updates. In the past, you both have made reference to Nintendo keeping franchises at the top of people's minds when there's potentially something they want to announce. Do you see these continued efforts to put F-Zero in the spotlight as a sign that a new game in the series is coming?
I kind of feel like in this case, they found a way for this series to live in its current day in the form of F-Zero 99. Like, it might not be suited in this modern age for it to have like a game in the series, but they found a way for this like franchise to live on by making F-Zero 99. And I think that's smart too. Like, it doesn't have to exist in only one form.
Yeah.
Like it can be evolved and exist in another way. And I think it does a great job of doing that in F-Zero 99. So you know what? I'm not a huge hardcore F-Zero fan, so I kind of like the way it is, but I get it. Like the hardcore F-Zero fans, like where's my actual F-Zero?
Right. It's not as severe a situation, I feel, but it is a little bit, this series is a little bit similar to me to Star Fox, where it's like this genre of very like arcadey racer, you just don't see a lot of those anymore, and like Mario Kart's in its own stratosphere. Don't even compare it to Mario Kart. But again, talking about Namco, Ridge Racer is another very arcadey racer that's like they don't make those anymore.
They don't make Ridge Racers anymore.
So it's yes, it is a classic Nintendo series. Yes, I think there would be, much rejoicing if we got a new F-Zero game, but I do think they would probably need to think of some new way to introduce something fresh to it. I think there's a lot of things you could do online, but it's like, we just put out F-Zero 99, which has some great ideas and is the classic F-Zero that people know and have like on a pedestal. So I'm with you. I was like, they're probably asking themselves a question of like, do we need to do this?
Or does it just exist on in this way that seems to work?
Or people love this and this is meeting its goal of keeping people subscribed to the high tier of NSO.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think they could go either way. I would love to play a new F-Zero game. I would love to play a remake of the GameCube F-Zero game. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
But as far as their mindset, I hesitate to say like, yes, definitively, it's definitely happening.
Priming the pump for like a new.
Yeah.
I don't think that necessarily is the case.
It's not a slam dunk, I would say.
I
could happen though.
Don't rule it out.
Yeah.
Again, anything is possible.
Thank you for all the questions, everybody.
Wow.
That's all of them.
Well, that was a monster episode.
We're not done.
We're not done. We got to shout out some amazing, beautiful.
You have a special update about us at the end of the episode here.
I do.
About
it's in all caps.
A new thing that we're doing.
And it's highlighted.
Yes.
Wow.
So you don't forget.
But let's shout out our wonderful Patreon community first, shall we?
Yes.
First off, our beautiful, wonderful final boss, Aaron Hash.
Whoa.
Yay!
We're almost coming up on a year of Aaron Hash as the final boss. Wow.
We should do reviews or something. He should review us. Oh no! Be nice. Okay, ready for the superstars.
Yes.
Here we go. Ben Eichhorn.
Mario Mayhem.
Eigenverse.
Kiss My Flapjack.
Mike Chin.
Roy Eschke.
Switching it up _
VGM Life.
Link, the hero of wins.
Angela Bycroft and her pig Molly.
Thomas O'Rourke.
Kyle LaBeouf.
Roberto Nieves.
Frederick Ulf Conradson.
Andrew Uhas.
Chili.
Simon.
Crashuri.
Master Discord.
Ash.
Ajay Kunlas.
And 40 Gig.
I miss Jason.
He did a great job.
He really wanted to come back and do it again.
Really?
Yes.
He hung right in with this.
He really did. Okay, One Up Club. Aaron Burgundy.
Ali Alejandro.
Astro Dev.
Awesome 46.
Bad Moon Horizon.
Bates.
Benji B.
Big and Gamer with a Y.
Bookem Dano.
Brad SF56.
Brandon Cavapil.
Brent Dennison.
Brovek Novak.
Cameron.
Shadir.
Chelly Squirrel.
Crispy Saurus.
Christopher Lay.
Captain Alex.
Christabal.
Zero per 17.
Dachshund.
Doinko.
Echo Ladare.
Elite Peach.
Espars 50.
Fart Priest 69.
Fairbank.
Burning in Just Forever.
Fox Deployed.
Garth the Wolf.
Gartooth.
Guilty Phoenix 42.
Handheld Gamer.
Happy Sloth.
I May Have Made a Mistake.
In Space Khalil.
Iris Marin.
Jay Rando.
Jack Hovind.
Jameson. Eisenberg.
Jeffrey Hernandez.
Joe Encarnacion.
Jonathan Rowe.
Jordan Collette.
Jordan Hammerly.
George Ramirez.
I think it's Jorge Ramirez.
Jorge Ramirez. I'm so
But
sorry.
maybe I'm wrong. Joshua Clements.
Juji Fruit.
Justin Lemminger.
Kawa 2796.
Keith Kwan.
Kevin Delane.
Kilo Kibo.
Krista Roddy Kid.
Christopia Party With Me.
Kyle Gamer Barry Rookie.
Kyle Kretzel.
Lazy Cat for Coffee.
Lex.
Link 9898.
Lit.
Luigi 53.
Lynn.
Macho Potato.
Nat Dog 5981.
Magnificent Easy G plus Callie Marie.
Mario Man 392.
Marky Man 64.
Maverick Nate.
Mecha Dragon 101.
Megan.
Michael Cravens.
Mikey.
Mr. Ryan 07.
Motomania.
Mr. Andy Pond.
Mr. Beans and Dead.
MSN Poke Gamer.
My Trend.
Nasir.
Niaf E.
Ninja 11.
Baggy.
Patrice Millette.
Paul.
Paul Gale Network.
Prime Factor.
Prince Charmless.
Reaver.
Raintech.
Random bystander here.
Record Rumble.
Ryuji Utsuhu Okou.
Ryeth 1.
Rob.
Romsky 113.
Rox.
Ryanetta.
Saul Dominguez.
Sharif Jackson.
Shinri.
Schmills.
Slowbro.
Simon O. Spacey Poop.
Spicy Munchkin.
Steel Citrone.
Pseudo Priest.
Tales of Link.
K120N64.
Teal Fox 64.
The Keggers.
The Shark Among Men.
The T-Man.
Thomas Alvarez.
Three Rivers.
Timmy V.
Tor Cheeks.
Totally Joed.
Travis Torline.
Jowie.
Tugs Puppy Bear.
Tusku.
Tyler Geis.
Uncle Jungle.
Video Games Stupid.
Vig Michter.
Vincent Van Butler.
Viridian.
Virtual Bot.
WG Grizzy.
Wayu.
Wicked Davy.
Will Johnson.
Zelgaroth.
Zabaddy.
And Zroid. I learned a shocking thing that Pangy is actually Pangy.
How did you learn that?
He told me on Discord. And I was shocked.
Oh.
But they said that they were excited that we pronounced it Pangy.
Okay.
So we can continue
So we
on.
can continue.
Yeah.
I'm glad with that.
But I did get schooled on the
I was
actual
spooked
pronoun.
for a
I was
moment
like,
there.
oh no. I was wrong all along.
Have you considered changing your name?
to
To
Pangy.
Pangy.
All right.
Big update.
You have to do your part first.
No, just do it.
Okay.
People have been waiting.
Follow us on social. We are on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Threads, and also Blue Sky.
Now we're on Blue Sky. Yes, something's happened with Blue Sky. A lot of people are on there now, including us.
Yes.
We are going to continue to be on all these other social places.
Yes.
But if you are on Blue Sky and
Yes.
you would like to see what we have to say there, you can do that. So
Yes.
we have Kit and Krysta. Mm-hmm. I am just Kit Ellis.
And I'm Breath O'Air.
Some creep sniped Keto-san from under my breath. I'm so mad by that.
Is it the person that stole your PAX badge?
Thank goodness they still have my name available, Kit Ellis, and your Breath Aware, yes.
Do you think it's the same person that's
Probably.
an imposter of you?
Probably.
Are you an imposter of you?
You'll never know until it's too late. That's what I keep telling you. So I pull off the mask.
Shadow. Is that why you're wearing the shirt?
That's why I'm wearing the shadow of the hedgehog sweatshirt.
My reality
Pull
is
off.
completely distorted right
Yeah.
now. Who are you and what have you been doing?
If you're watching this video on
Don't
YouTube,
kid.
you can subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and leave us a comment. If you're listening on audio, you can also subscribe, give this podcast a 5-star rating, and leave a written review, if you please.
Yes, we're off. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.